we are live finally. Sorry for the hold up there. I should say, I was having some issues with OBS. I had to restart my laptop and get it back going again. For some reason, the application wasn't opening, but it is open now. Now I got to get the raw feed back up because I had to restart my laptop. That was weird. Very weird. Nope, that's not what I need to do. Give me 1 second. Lights are out on the pace car. They will be green this time by. Get the raw feed back up. There we go. All right, so welcome everybody to today's stream of the Mission 200 at the Watkins Glen International, the next round of the NASCAR Xfinity Series schedule. 25th race out of 33 on the season, and the second to last race of the regular season for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We'll go through the starting lineup quickly as we're less than one more pace lap away from the drop of the green flag. Connor Zilisch on the pole for the first time in his NASCAR Xfinity Series career, trying to win in this one here today on a road course, which of course is his specialty. Ty Gibbs, many road course wins in the Xfinity Series in his time as well. We'll be looking for his first Xfinity win of the season in just a few starts. He'll be starting second also, again, on the front row. AJ Allmendinger with Justin Allgaier will line up in row 2, row 3 for Sam Mayer and Chandler Smith. William Byron, Eric Almirola in row 4, Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill making up row 5. Jesse Love with Riley Herbst in row 6, Shane Van Gisbergen and Ryan Sieg in row 7, Cole Custer, Brandon Jones in row number 8, row 9 for Sammy Smith and Jeremy Clements. Row 10 starting a little deeper back is Parker Kligerman and Matt DiBenedetto. Raj Chastain with Alan Day in row number 11. Parker Retzlaff and Anthony Alfredo in row 12. Mike Skeen, Josh Bilicki, row 13. Row 14, Austin Green and Jeb Burton. Row 15 for Kyle Weatherman and Thomas Annunziata. Brandon Poole and Leland Honeyman, row 16. Row 17 for Joey Logano and R.C. Enerson. Ryan Ellis, Kyle Segan, row 18. Row 19, rounding out the 38-car field today, will be Ed Jones and Josh Williams. So again, they will be going green this time by 200 miles, 82 laps total time on this race. Total scheduled distance, I should say, on this race. Not assuming if we end up needing any overtime laps. Very close to the distance of the Cup Series race tomorrow. Very short first couple stages here in this one as a result. Only 20 laps in stages 1 and 2. And the final stage will make up the rest of the race after that, which would be the final 42. You can make this race on just 2 pit stops for fuel purposes. We'll have to see if there's any major tire fall off. I don't think we'll see as much here in this Xfinity race today as the Cup race tomorrow, but you never know. Pace car pulling in. Green flag is about to wave as Connor Zilisch going to lead the field to the green on a Saturday afternoon in upstate New York. Now out of the restart zone, we are green and underway in the Mission 200 at Watkins Glen. Zilisch on the inside lane for row 1, the right-hand corner. 90 degrees downhill before working uphill into the S's. Gibbs trying to stay side by side with the race leader, going through those rumble strips outside of turn 1. Got a bit loose going through there, and Zilisch was able to clear, and now Allgaier up is inside for second. Allgaier has to fight out of line to get back in line behind Ty Gibbs and make the set of corners through the S's, and he now sits in third. AJ Allmendinger quickly up to fourth, just behind him. Single file in the top 5 positions. William Byron side by side with Chandler Smith. Make that Sam Mayer in the bus stop. That is for 6th place. Mayer wins that battle. And into turn 5 now, mostly single file in the top 10 positions. Getting organized in the early going. Again, 20 laps in stage 1. And Zilisch just a couple corners away from leading his first lap of the race, again from the pole. Scattering cars off of turn 5 as they try to lane change and still get organized outside the top 10. Brandon Jones, Riley Herbst battling tough for position as well. Sammy Smith and Ryan Sieg. Those are the 2 drivers going for that final playoff spot on points as we enter today's race. We'll highlight that in a little bit. As of right now, we're going to focus in on the battle for the race lead, which has the 88 car still in play. Sammy Smith again battling to the inside of Sieg in turn 1 outside the top 10. Couldn't make the pass there either. Shane Van Gisbergen had qualified in the 13th place position. Dropped to the rear of the field before the start of the race today. Made some unapproved changes. So he's back at 28th as we begin this race. He'll be starting in row 2 of the Cup race tomorrow. But of course, running for points in the Xfinity Series is already locked into the playoffs. 3 wins, all on road courses. And they were the last 3 road course races we have ran in the Xfinity Series. Chicago, Portland, and Sonoma. All in the middle of the summer. So trying to go for 4 road course wins in a row here today. We'll see if he can do it again from the rear of the field. SVG simply looking for stage wins and race wins today to boost his playoff hopes for when that begins in a couple weeks for the Xfinity Series. Grab every extra point he can. Quick shout outs to Lloyd Barnes, T Van, Mike H, Delbert Wilson, and Bronny20 Forever. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. You guys are the first in the chat below. We got many more than that many people watching. Again, sorry for the couple-minute delayed start to the stream. I had to restart my laptop to get OBS to work. It was not working when I was trying to open the application on my laptop. But we still got here before the race started, so that's good. Just had to rush through the starting lineup, but we didn't get a chance to look at the point standings quite yet. Top 2 cars starting to pull away from the field. Really a 3-car breakaway, but there's a bit of a gap building between second and third, which is Gibbs and Allgaier. And Gibbs is actually a little quicker, it seems like, than Connor Zilic just in front of him. That last lap, Gibbs was 0.3 of a second quicker, and Gibbs is also within about 2 to 3 car lengths of Zilic now through turn 5 on lap 3. Zilic leading the first 2 laps of the race, and about to lead a third, assuming he will be out in front still this time by. Interesting seeing the rumble strips in play here at Watkins Glen. Up off the exit of turn 1, as well off the exit of turn 5. Trying to keep drivers from using more of that runoff area than we would see in years past. Trying to keep them down off that area of the racetrack as much as possible. Could degrade tires quite a bit. And it's definitely a rough ride getting through there as well, especially with how low these cars end up sitting, especially early in the run with the air pressures down. Byron getting by Zane Smith. Smith a bit loose, trying to pick the throttle back up off the exit of turn 1 to get back to the inside of the 17. Byron, one of a few Cup regulars in the field today. Of course, Ty Gibbs in the 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing. The Hendrick.com Chevrolet, the number 17 for William Byron. Ross Chastain in the 92 car today in the Mario Gosling-owned race car, Chevrolet, as he's mid-pack. And Joey Logano in the 15 for AM Racing yet again, as he had an 8th place finish on the last time he was racing Xfinity Series in that car on the road course. That was at Chicago back in July. So those are the 4 Cup regulars in the field. Of course, Allmendinger and Van Gisbergen running the Cup race tomorrow as Xfinity regulars as well. So 6 drivers in total this weekend pulling double duty. How come SVG's in 26? Because he started at the back of the pack. Unapproved adjustments post-qualifying from this morning. So SVG started at the back. Qualified 13th initially. Working his way forward. He's up to 24th. Gonna be tough trying to battle through traffic in this first stage. It'll be interesting to see exactly how many spots he picks up before then. Ryan Sieg was able to pass Sammy Smith a couple laps ago when they were battling for position. He also just passed the next car in front of them of Brandon Jones, but it looked like he went a bit wide getting back into the gas too soon off the exit of turn 1. Jones got back underneath them initially. They were side by side through the S's for a minute before Jones had to back out in line behind Sieg. 5-car build-up right now in those battles for position, all outside the top 10 as they run in positions 14 through 18. Kligerman, maybe a little contact from Sammy Smith. Smith shuts the door late going into the bus stop. 48 slides the rear tires, and all 3 of those cars lose ground. Clements also in the picture had to check up to keep from running into the back of Kligerman. You used to see him park and run up towards the front on these road courses, so strange that he qualified mid-pack today. He's one of the drivers also above the cutoff line on points without a win this season. Kligerman had also announced earlier this week that he will be retiring from NASCAR competition after 2024. Looking to go out strong, maybe get a win before the season's up. Definitely one of his best style of racetrack, super speedways, road courses is his specialty, but a slow start for Kligerman here this weekend. And Clements about to make the pass on Kligerman as well for 17th. Gets to the inside. Bounces off the curb. Still a decent drive off for Clements. Into the S is still side by side. Neither driver wanting to give the position up. 51 slides and retires again. And Kligerman still holds serve. Zilich has opened up his gap at the front of the field by 1 second over Ty Gibbs now. And Allgaier is 2.3 seconds off the lead in third. AJ Allmendinger is fourth place, 5.8 seconds off the lead. And Chandler Smith and Fitz 6.1 seconds back. That's the top five in the intervals between those top five positions. Working lap 6 of 82 as of right now. And again, 20 laps in stage 1 and stage 2 today. Terry Lewis, Wade, thanks for tuning in. Full screen commercial break on the USA Network for the first time during this race coverage. So we'll go through the full field running order now as we're in the early going of today's Mission 200 at the Glen. Tyler Zilich is currently the race leader now, 1.3 second advantage over Gibbs, who's put pressure on him in those first couple laps of the race, but Zilich starting to open the gap up just a bit. Justin Allgaier again is in third. AJ Allmendinger fourth. Chandler Smith is fifth. Sixth place is William Byron. Sam Mayer seventh. Eric Almirola eighth. Sheldon Creed ninth, and Austin Hill is in 10th. 11th for Cole Custer. Riley Herbst 13th. Ryan Sieg 14th, and Brandon Jones 15th. 16th is Sammy Smith. Parker Kligerman 17th. Jeremy Clements 18th. Parker Retzlaff 19th, and Mike Skeen is 20th. Anthony Alfredo 21st. Shane Van Gisbergen 22nd. Austin Green 23rd. Matt DiBenedetto 24th, and Ross Chastain 25th. 26th for Josh Bilicki, Joey Logano 27th, Kyle Weatherman 28th, Thomas Annunziata 29th, and Jeb Burton 30th. Ed Jones 31st, Leland Honeyman 32nd, 33rd, Brennan Poole, Alan Day 35th, Ryan Ellis 36th, Kyle Seek 37th, and R.C. Anderson rounds out the field in 38th. Average race pace in the early laps, 116.5 miles per hour, a little less than 10 minutes from the drop of the green flag. To where we are right now, and pole sitter Connor Zilich has led the first 7 completed laps. Working lap number 8 as of this moment, we'll take our first break as well. You're listening live on KRC to the Mission 200 at the Glen. Lincoln Kim Hollingsworth also thanks for tuning into the stream. Well over 100 people watching, only 23 likes. Be sure to hit that like button. Our goal is to get to 100 likes during today's stream. That is our typical Xfinity Series like goal. So again, 100 is the goal. And we got over that during practice and qualifying for the Cup Series today, so I would assume that we can get there for this Xfinity race as well. And our Cup Series coverage tomorrow begins at 2:30 p.m. Eastern for any of you wondering. Try to expand the screen just a little bit here so you can maybe read the leaderboard a little better. It seemed like it was appearing smaller on screen today than what it usually does.
Almost 2.5 seconds between himself and second place Ty Gibbs. And behind them, Allgaier, Allmendinger, and Chandler Smith. And we're hearing on the radio, the 8 might have some issues, Marty. What's going on?
Right now, the last driver in the Xfinity Series playoffs, but yes, a possible engine issue. Listen to the radio.
So it's like speaking.
So, Steve, the plan as of now is they're going to try to get it to the end of the stage here. I heard their spotters say we might be dropping oil. We heard Parker Kligerman say he thought he saw oil coming out of the 8 car as well. So, interesting for Sammy Smith here early in stage 1 at Watkins Glen, a possible issue.
We're looking at the white tail on the 8. I haven't seen it change colors. When you put oil down, normally it kind of blows back up and darkens that tail panel. Not the case for the 8. And by the description, it doesn't sound like an engine issue to me. It sounds more like a suspension issue. Watkins Glen notoriously hard on rear suspension, specifically the track bar, the bar that holds your rear housing from left to right. The curves and just everything that happens makes it very tough, but 10 laps to go in this stage, then he can bring it to his crew. Hopefully it holds together for 10 more, Rick.
Magman, it always seems to be the case when 2 people are fighting for a position. As far as the playoffs, they're racing near each other. Ryan Sieg right in front of Sammy Smith as they get ready to come to the Essence.
They have a battle going on. Of course, watching the battle of the one of Sam Mayer, the 81 of Chandler Smith. They've got traffic stacked up out of turn 4.
That's Chandler Smith doing the red 81 car. He'll stay in line behind Mayer. This time through the bus stop, everybody's snaking their way through. You've got another 2 Joe Gibbs cars right there behind the 81 of Smith. That's Eric Almirola and Sheldon Creed, who have been in their own private war the last couple of laps. Good racing here, just inside the top 10 for 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Chandler Smith having a little bit of issues with his car. Just got passed by William Byron and Sam Mayer. And now you can see that the guys behind him, they saw that. That means that he is struggling. You've got to take the fight until he puts pressure on him.
So you see the 20 of Eric Almirola now will close the gap on that 81 of Chandler Smith, who's just in front of him. We'll see if he takes advantage of closing that gap. He's not going to be able to get to the inside of him here as they go to turn 1.
Here they come through turn 1, sliding back to the battle with Austin Hill and company. And red, white, and blue 21 car for Hill. You got the red and white car for Jesse Love. That's Austin Hill's teammate. And then here comes that black and green number 98 for Riley Herbst. Herbst is trying to turn the wick up right now, and he's trying to get inside of the top 10. He's up to 12th so far.
Oh, Austin Hill slides way wide there at the exit of that corner that leads to the back straightaway. This is the race for 10. Hill has it in the 21 right now with teammate Jesse Love behind him. Just ahead of those two. Good little race again, resuming between Creed and Almirola. But here is the race for 10, with Hill holding on to that spot, Jesse Love behind him, and Riley Herbst keeping him honest as they work out a 5.
And Sam Mayer currently running in the 6th position. The most recent winner, they wanted to improve on their performance last year. Now, what does that mean? It means, yes, they had a solid year last year, but they were not the best car. They said, Sam, his crew chief, Marty Lindley, told me their goal is to improve. That means execute perfectly on pit road. No mistakes, no slow stops. Lead left if they can. Right now, Marty, though, the team telling him he's losing the most time in the S's.
Meanwhile, Ryan Sieg holding his own here at the road course, sitting in 15th right now and in front of Sammy Smith and also Parker Torgerman as well, who's kind of battling here in the championship standings. Steve, I talked to Matt Hoyce, his crew chief, this morning. He said, listen, we were able to do the tire test here. And while you're not working for yourself at a tire test feed, you're really working for Goodyear. He said, we learned so much, and it gave Ryan so much confidence. That begs the question, what can you learn as a crew chief when you're doing a tire test for Goodyear?
Well, while you aren't creating the test plan, you're running through the different tires that Goodyear brings. You do have full data on the car. So Ryan C. could go out and run. And I actually think, Jeff, at times the tire test is better because Goodyear forces you to run like 10 or 15 laps in a row, where drivers sometimes get frustrated. You're forced to run a ton of laps in that format. And I think for a driver like Ryan Sieg and his entire team, that's a lot of track time helping the 39.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's valuable. It's so valuable because you had such little practice today. And you gotta find a limit. Well, Sheldon Creed, watch this. This was through the bus stop about a lap ago. Back of the car, way around on it. Nice job of saving it. But you can see, trying to get to the bus stop with a lot of speed is dangerous. Riley Herbst trying to take the fight. Jesse Love, he got by his teammate Cole Custer a few laps ago. All over the back of Jesse Love. Riley Herbst getting antsy right now in turn 2, trying to get by the red and white corner of Jesse Love. That'll be the battle for the 11th position. And it's 3 cars deep. While there's a battle for second in front of Dillon.
And that's Ty Gibbs in the 19 with Justin Allgaier in the 7 behind him, 2nd and 3rd. They have separated themselves clearly from A.J. Allmendinger in 4th, but both of these cars still chasing Connor Zillage, who's way up the road. You saw him there in that last shot.
Connor Zillage about 5 seconds. Oh, Riley Herbst missed the interlude. If you miss it, the rule is you have to come to a complete stop on the outside of the interlude, and then you merge back into traffic.
It's on a 12, man. After that, will fall back quite a bit. So a difficult situation there for the 98s as we see a fight for 11th. Cole Custer and Jesse Love looking at that position as Jesse Love tries to cross over the 00. Here's Riley Herbst coming into the inner loop there.
That right there is he was trying to carry speed into the inner loop behind the 2 of Jesse Love. And when you are behind another car, your visibility, Steve, is much worse. And you're looking for the braking zone. Maybe Jesse Love drove in a little deeper, kind of talk the 98 into getting a little bit too deep, and now you can't see your marks on the right side.
7 to go, and it has been all Connor Zilic. He now has over a 5-second lead over Ty Gibbs and Justin Allgaier.
So the youngster, well, a couple youngsters really at the front of the field there. Connor Zilic, Ty Gibbs, 1-2 in the running order. The lead is 5.3 seconds for Zilic over Gibbs. Gibbs was fading on the long run in some of the other road course races he's ran this season in the Xfinity Series. Seems to be the case here. He is still holding off Allgaier, who remains in third. A.J. Allmendinger is in fourth. Fifth for William Byron as he moved there just a few laps ago. Sixth place, Sam Mayer. Chandler Smith has now fallen back to seventh. Eric Almirola in the field is in eighth. Sheldon Creed ninth. Austin Hill 10th. So that is the top 10 in the running order, lap 15. 6 laps to go at stage 1 with where we're at right now. SVG's driven up to 15th from the rear of the field, so look out for him if he can get some track position. Continues to battle forward in this one. Other shout-outs to those of you watching this. M.E. D. Mons? I don't know. The M.E.'s in capitals. M.E. D. Mons, thanks for tuning in. Martin McCallahany, thanks for tuning in as well. MC, thanks for tuning in. David Newman. Appreciate it. Why did SVG start at the rear? He started at the rear because of doing the, not passing modified, or Jesus, I can't talk. Unapproved modifications post-qualifying. That's what I was trying to say the first 2 times. It didn't even sound like English, but yeah, just unapproved adjustments. I'm not sure exactly what they changed in the car, but changed something post-qualifying. And by NASCAR rule, whatever it was that they did change was outside of the parameters, and they had to go to the rear of the field for the start of the race. Probably why he ended up qualifying back in 13th. Probably something he did not like. But obviously is driving faster than that in his way through the field right now. Yeah, David in the chat pretty much alluded to the same thing I did. I agree. El Ultimo Singlo, thanks for tuning in. Montoya is running tomorrow. This is the Xfinity Series race. Montoya is in the Cup race tomorrow. Isn't this Zilic's first Xfinity race? I do believe so. Yeah, which is also why I was surprised that he was getting to Xfinity full time next season, considering he hasn't ran an Xfinity race. He ran part-time in the trucks. I feel like the ovals have been a little to be desired, but with SVG moving up to Cup next year, I mean, there's going to be a lot of Xfinity Series races on road courses open, so maybe that's the same thought process, like, hey, he can win, get in the playoffs that way, and then figure the rest out on the way through the season, so we'll see how that goes for him. Ty Gibbs was a little wide getting out of the S's, lost time to Allgaier, and Justin Allgaier within a couple car lengths of Gibbs now with just 3 to go this time by in stage 1. Those two in turn 5, 8 seconds behind the race leader, Zilic. Putting a beating on the field in the early going. Our first pit stops of the day could come up any lap. We'll see if somebody tries to short pit the stages. Pit road closes with 2 laps to go in the stage. So as soon as the race leader gets to the start-finish line for 2 laps left, pit road will close. And obviously, as big of a lead as he has right now, you're pretty much going to have to pit that time by if you are going to short pit. But it doesn't really look like hardly anybody at the very front of the field pitting. We got a couple. Ty Gibbs is in. A.J. Allmendinger is on pit road. Sam Mayer, William Byron. Let's listen in.
The mic is outside the helmet, so they have him.
Austin Hill.
as they're putting fresh Goodyear tires on the 19-17. Also in, William Byron just complaining no rear grip on that machine, and they'll put 4 fresh Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel, Marty.
AJ Allmendinger also on pit road. All these teams flipping the stage here as they do it. A long time on the stop there for Austin Hill on the left here, making an adjustment for him, lacking rear grip on exit. So these teams flipping the stage to get an advantage here in stage 2.
Yep.
The drivers in the top 10 looked like Sam Mayer had the fastest pit stop under these green flag conditions, 15.6 seconds so far. I haven't seen a time faster than that. Top it off on fuel while they're there as well, and it's the first of what is likely to be 2 stops for most of this race today. If they choose to pit before the end of stage 2, then that would mean they will have to pit at some point in time in stage 3 as well. Maybe we'll see some fuel-only situations there, because at that point, they can run most of the rest of the race to the finish for tire purposes, although that would double the tire stent from what we would see in the first 2 stages to the end of the race if they went that far. So I don't know, we'll see. I mean, there's quite a few drivers that aren't going to pit this time by, and that leads me to believe that maybe it's going to be a 2-stop versus a 3-stop strategy, where a lot of guys will probably stay out, get stage points here, and then continue to stay out through the end of the stage and try to make it to that point of pitting right before the stage end in stage 2. They might have enough fuel to make it that far. It'll be close. Not having a caution for incident is going to hurt the chances of that, but it's not impossible. Showing a replay of SVG on pit road as he almost got squeezed into the wall by Ty Gibbs. And Gibbs definitely did not give him a lot of room there. Luckily, SVG was able to keep off of him, no contact, and he was able to get to pit road in his box without missing it as well. Final lap of stage 1, Zilich did stay on the track, and with the pit road closed, everybody behind him will stay out as well. Allgaier moved to second. So it seems like Junior Motorsports on the strategy of not pitting early, at least for the top couple. Sam Mayer did come to pit road. And Sammy Smith's still out on the racetrack as well. Brandon Jones pitted. So 2 of the 5 JRM cars did hit pit road. And Zilich trying to put Van Gisbergen a lap down with SVG pitting already. That would be huge. And I think Zilich knows how big this could be too. That might be the guy he's going to have to battle for the win with later. SVG doing a great job holding him off through the bus stop all the way through turn 5. 2 more corners for Zilich to try to get by. But remember, SVG does have fresher tires, so it's not going to be an easy pass. Now, obviously, SVG would have gotten the free pass if he gets lapped here, but that would mean he'd also be at the tail end of the field on the restart again, just like he was on the initial start of the race. But despite the hiccup on pit road, they are still able to stay on the lead lap. And congrats to Kyler Zilich for leading all 20 laps of stage 1. Dominating fashion, 10.7 seconds ahead of Justin Allgaier. Zilich wins its first career stage in the Xfinity Series. Justin Allgaier second, Eric Almirola third, Chandler Smith fourth, and Sheldon Creed fifth. 6th for Cole Custer, Jesse Love 7th, Riley Herbst 8th, Ryan Sieg 9th, and Jeremy Clements 10th. And all those drivers receiving stage points in stage number 1. Here's a look at the point standings coming into this race here today. Regular season battle. As of right now, Justin Allgaier 34 points above Cole Custer in the regular season standings coming into this race here today. So he actually mathematically has a chance of clinching the regular season title, getting very darn close. He does outscore Custer by 4 points in this first stage. And Chandler Smith 67 back, Austin Hill 71 back, so they're in danger of getting eliminated from regular season championship contention today as well. Drivers locked into the Xfinity Series playoff field with wins would include 3 for Shane Van Gisbergen, most of the Xfinity regulars. Justin Allgaier with 2, Chandler Smith with 2, Austin Hill and Sam Mayer also have 2 wins. 1 win apiece for Cole Custer, Riley Herbst, Jesse Love. And that means 4 drivers are above the cutoff line on points coming into this race today. Those drivers would include AJ Allmendinger, Sheldon Creed, Parker Kligerman, and Sammy Smith, plus 144 for Dinger. Creed, plus 123, plus 74 for Kligerman, plus 44 for Sammy Smith. Ryan Sieg, first driver below the cutoff line at minus 44 points, had a DNF a week ago at Atlanta. 2 weeks in a row, in fact. Minus 139 must-win situation for Brandon Jones, as well as everybody else behind him. Anthony Alfredo in a must-win situation, 15th at points, and Brendan Poole 16th in the standings. So that is the playoff outlook. Again, first stage win, obviously, for Zilich on the season and of his Xfinity career. And Allmendinger stacking up the stage wins yet again as well. Hill has 3 wins. Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad. No, he only has 2. I don't know why you said he had 3. He threw me off there for a second. Yeah, Austin Hill's got 2 wins. You know what? No, he did sweep Atlanta last week. So I was reading what was in front of my face here. On NASCAR.com, it says he has 2 still. You are right. He does have 3. He does have 3. He got the Atlanta sweep, all of them on super speedways. I was reading what was in front of my face. I apologize on that. Austin Hill does have 2 wins. He's tied with SVG for most in the series. NASCAR.com says he has 2. I think NASCAR needs to get it together and get the wins list accurate. You know what? Now that I think about it, it says it's only through 23 races, so these point standings aren't even updated. Because this is the 25th race, so it didn't even put... So everything I just read to you is inaccurate, essentially, is what I'm getting at. NASCAR.com is... Yeah, it's off. Let me see if the app is any different. Yeah, those point standings... Even on the app, it's not right. The Cup Series is okay. Trucks are okay. So the entire Xfinity Series point standings on NASCAR.com is not accurate. Because they're missing a race. This is the 25th race of the season, so that's why it says he only has 2 wins. And the gap between Allgaier and Custer probably isn't even 34 points. And I don't even know if it's a 44-point difference between Sammy Smith and Ryan Seat coming into the day, because that could have been from the week before. Clear the browser, CAC? No, I mean, it's like that on the NASCAR app, too. On my phone. I literally have the points on my phone and on NASCAR.com, and they're both the same. They're just missing a race. For some reason, they didn't edit the point standings after last week at Atlanta. Pit road is open. Everybody who didn't pit for the end of the stage is now on their way to pit lane.
It's going to start way back in traffic, I think.
Jim.
And you see the 20th Harris Campbell roll up, peel off right there on top of your screen. He said he needs more turn, but cannot sacrifice rear grip. They are going to make an adjustment to try to get longevity on the rear of that race car. 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Snoco Fuel, Marty.
We're trying to figure out how his teammate Connor Zilich was so dominant. Justin Allgaier said, I'm scratching my head on this one. Jim Pullman of Screechy said, me too. He needs a little more rear grip. And I don't think anyone had this in the cards today. A pole position in his first ever Xfinity Series race and a 10-second win in stage 1, leading all 22 laps for Connor Zilich, who wants no changes on the car, obviously. Meanwhile, their teammate Sammy Smith sitting here on pit road trying to figure out what's going on with their car mechanically. He said towards the end of that run, the right rear is hopping so bad I can barely drive it off the corner. So Philip Bell is trying to guide the team through exactly what repairs they can make here. Mike Bumgarner, the head of competition at Junior Motorsports, also looking in as well as they try to get Sammy Smith's car fixed up.
Yep.
All right, so there you heard the pit reports. Allgaier wins the race off pit road, 4-tire stop, +3 for Cole Custer, +2 for Herbst. Zilich loses 5 positions on pit road. Some of it could be a slow stop for that team. Remember, that 88 team does not race every week, so those pit crew members servicing the car today, maybe not as routine as what it is for a lot of these other teams that are in every single Xfinity race on a weekend basis. You got to figure that the JRM crew is the same pit crew that pits the Cup Series cars, but with 5 cars in the Xfinity series here today for JRM. Obviously, there's not 4 Hendrick cars in the Cup Series. I don't know where they're getting the other pit crew from then. I wonder if it's Trackhouse. That's the only thing I could think of. Maybe it's like one of the Trackhouse crews are pitting Zilich. But we know how good the HMS crews are year in and year out. So could be missing some there for Zilich and his team. I wouldn't be surprised if Suarez's team is pitting Zilich today with Chastain in the field. I would assume that Chastain's picker is probably pitting him here, and then Suarez's pit crew might be on Zilich's car. Definitely has the fastest car in the early going of those that had track position. I want to see SVG and Zilich head-to-head in this one, and then we'll really get to see who is the fastest, because SVG, his lap times weren't as Zilich, but Zilich had clean air, and SVG was in traffic the whole time, and he did go from the back to, 13th at the end of the stage before pit stops. Obviously, he wasn't 13th at the end of the stage because he had hit pit road when he did. Waiting for a leaderboard update next time the leaders get to the start-finish line. Get 20 laps in the second stage as well, so we'll race to lap 40. And the poll that's open in the chat, I asked you who you thought was going to win today's race, and that will close at the end of stage 2 per usual. 89 votes have been casted so far. 42% of those votes have SVG winning. 25% for Connor Zilich, 11% for Ty Gibbs, and other than those three at 22%. Again, end of lap 40, I'll close the poll. Elvijo Monca, thanks for tuning in. As well as Rod Brown, I see you in the chat. Still awaiting the restart.
Start down the start retry. Kim, what's going on with Chandler Smith?
So that documented the debris he had on his grill. He was able to get it off on the racetrack, but at that point he had pushed so much water and the water temperature was so high they brought him down pit road. Before pit road opened, you see them lifting the hood. They added water to the 81 before servicing the actual car. Seems like everything is back on track right now, Marty, because now what they're talking about, his biggest weakness is on the track, breaking into turn 1, as well as he needs help through the bus stop. So everything looks good besides track position for Chandler Smith.
Yeah, things are not on track for Sammy Smith. It winds up being a broken right rear shock and also a broken right rear shock mount. I just checked in with Mike Bumgardner, who leads all competition at Junior Motorsports. He said, see, they can mount and bolt on a new shock mount. And Philip Bell, as crew chief, said, it's worth going down at least a lap to get it repaired right here, because he did ask Sammy Smith, could you live without a right rear shock for the rest of the race? He said, there's no way I could drive it for the rest of the race the way it was in stage 1.
So obviously, if the mount itself's broken, but they can repair it, that tells me they must have some sort of bolt-on mount. They're currently 1 lap down, which I don't think is a big issue because there's so few cars 1 lap down. They can get it back. Going 2 down becomes a much taller task. So then, as cars get 1 lap down, you won't get the free pass.
If things got really tight for a long day on the 45 car, comes in his pit box and just in a little more speed than the tire carrier anticipated. What's up? Get him on the radio. That is scary. Let's hear what the lot had to say.
Is it okay? You're fine. What did I do wrong? It just came out on the path. It's okay. Everything's good. Just shake it off. Everything's all right.
So, look, as a driver, that's terrifying to see a crew member, but he stopped in his box.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he came in there too fast. I think their timing got off of when they got over the pit wall. Now, see, this is a unique pit road because the wall is on the right side versus the left.
And it's backwards, right? So where the jack band, the tire changes, and the tire carriers, where they line up on the wall to jump is very different here than when they come the other way. And that choreography slows everything down. And, to jump off with 2 75-pound tires, we'll call it 60-pound tires, one in each hand, 120 pounds worth of tire, and get out in front of the car, I'm not jumping.
I wish they would tell him you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Because he got stopped in the box. Because now when he comes back the next time, he's going to try to adjust.
Yeah. Go a little bit slower. Again, Alande out of Israel. This is his first start in the Xfinity Series this year.
Mixed up group at the front. The car.
Yep, cars that pitted before the end of the stage are now out in front of those that stayed out, got stage points. Those guys lost a bit of track position, so Ty Gibbs will be the leader for the first time today. AJ Allmendinger outside of row 1 in the restart. Green flag back in the air at Watkins Glen. Lap 24 of 82, about a quarter of the way home. Big push on that outside lane. Second row back, getting to the back bumper of Allmendinger. That was Sam Mayer. Still side by side for the lead, though, off turn 1 and into the S's between Gibbs and AJ. AJ is going to win the battle, and now Allmendinger leads for the first time today. Oh, one car gets sideways in the middle of the S's, 2, and now 3 wide. Great save. Couldn't tell exactly who that was. Blue car of some sort. That was in the back half of the top 10. That could have been a nasty area of the track. We've seen some violent crashes over the years in that area of the racetrack. It's so narrow, there would be nowhere to go to try to miss the wreck. And great save, whoever that was. Tough to tell from the aerial cam at the time exactly who that may have been. At the front, Gibbs was charging hard into turn 6 in the braking zone, trying to get back along with Allmendinger. These two had great road course battles when Gibbs was full-time in the Xfinity Series 2 years ago. Now we get to see a little taste of that here in Stage 2 right now. Gibbs going for the lead. Bottom, no, fake move. Behind him, big run by Byron to the inside of Mayer. Locked the front tires up, but still takes over third. And Allgaier, first of those that pitted during the stage break in the running order, as he is in 5th. Remember, Zilich lost 5 positions on pit road. Connor from the restart is back at 11th. Lap 6 of 20 in Stage 2. Byron's got to make sure he didn't flat spot the tires, of course, in that hard push into turn 1 to get by Mayer with the clean pass. Just locked up the fronts a bit. And if Gibbs and AJ Allmendinger get the battle in here, it can allow Byron to close the gap even more. Just chipping away at him. Gibbs a little wide off turn 5 compared to AJ. Gibbs definitely charging the braking zones a little harder, at least on this area of the track, 6 and 7, like he did the lap before. It's allowing AJ to get a slightly better drive off as he wins the race back to the gas. Gaps the 19 a little bit on the front straightaway, but Gibbs in the draft. Pulling out of the draft now just a bit, and I think he's trying to protect the bottom from Byron at this point. And Byron looks to the outside of Gibbs. Over-under move off the exit of turn 1, and now he's got to run on Gibbs for second into the S's. Nose to tail.
No. Front 5 basically are support. Took the rest of the field. This time, AJ Allmendinger, the 16. Great battle for the lead here at Watkins.
Byron looked like had a little bit of a run on Gibbs at the top of the hill, but not going to be able to do anything with that run. They'll follow Allmendinger, the race leader, through the right, double left, and then right complex here. That is the bus stop. Here's the entry to the carousel. Gibbs has been a little bit better than Allmendinger on entry to the carousel. Closes on it through the center, but AJ strong enough out of 5 to hold on to the lead.
And that's the key. As long as AJ can leave the corner better than Gibbs, there's no way Gibbs can make a pass. AJ Allmendinger, he's a guy, Steve, that's not going to make many mistakes, but Ty Gibbs putting tons of pressure on him.
No, but you can tell by the way the front 4 or 5 are stacked up that Allmendinger is slower. If he was faster, he'd be driving off the front bumper. Here they are, nose to tail into turn 1. Gibbs knows that he's being held up, and Byron behind Gibbs knows that this is his opportunity.
Ty Gibbs starting to get antsy in that second spot, taking a peek to the inside of Allmendinger out of 1, finding no room to race. They make their way for the rumble strips, back out onto the racetrack, and up the hill through the S's. 4 drivers lined up behind AJ Allmendinger. You're on board AJ right now, looking at those 4 drivers trying to take his lead away.
He's got a draft at the top of the S's, but not going to be able to do anything with it. Runs out of racetrack at the end of the backstretch. Allmendinger just fast enough at the right places to hold on to the top spot. This is where it's battle for second with Byron knocking on the door, Marty.
Dylan, what's interesting is A.J. Allmendinger had a conversation with his team earlier this morning, and he said, I'm willing to give up early run speed to have later run speed. Say, sometimes that's a sacrifice you make, Rick, and we're seeing it play out right now. Clearly, he's holding up these guys behind him.
And now, side by side again for that second spot. Here comes the 17, William Byron. No room between the wall and the 19 of Ty Gibbs. Those two continue to fight for the position. Byron's going to try to take it on the outside. Just in front of the 19, Byron takes second.
Gibbs stacked him up.
Position number 2, and now Ty Gibbs has the crosshairs on him. Sam Mayer getting restless. Also, Justin Allgaier in the 7. Stacked up from the first position on Gibbs in the 19. Was trying to take the lead away a moment ago. Now he's just trying to hang on to the first spot. Trying to just get his wits about it still. Looks like he's got some separation between himself and Sam Mayer in the 1 in that race for the 3rd spot as Byron has started to reel in Allmendinger in front of this duo. Great race, top 5, all nose to tail as they work through the right-hander turn 5.
Ty Gibbs lost a little bit of momentum in that battle with William Byron, but I feel like he's gained it back. Now he's able to keep the guys behind him. But William Byron, he's now the guy applying pressure to Allmendinger.
How aggressive does he get? Allmendinger, he leads about every category when it comes to road courses. As far as poles, wins, tracks won on, seconds, top 5, stage wins, almost everything. But right now, he's got William Byron to the inside as they go down the front stretch and into turn number 1. A.J. Allmendinger is going to lose the lead to William Byron.
What a move by William Byron. He's done it on the inside. He's done it on the outside to work his way up to the top 5. But here's A.J. Allmendinger. Back to the inside. Dinger's loose in 2. He'll collect the car. Now he'll hang on to second. But Ty Gibbs is knocking at the back door. What a great battle for the lead. Driver free falls Allmendinger wheeling that thing through the S's, trying to get back to the back bumper of Byron, but now he's going to maybe lose the second spot. Here's Gibbs, preferred line on entry to the bus stop. Now he's on the unpreferred line. Allmendinger able to fend off that challenge for now. He runs second in the 16 car, but Gibbs all over the back bumper. He loses momentum. They're stacking up from third on back. Gibbs in the 19, Mayer and Allgaier right there as well.
Gibbs got the back of Allmendinger. That stacked them all up. They all worked it out, but Justin Allgaier taking advantage of it.
And now we've got a car stopped. That is at the inner loop. And so a stop and go for Leland Honeyman.
We'll continue to see the 16 car of Allmendinger getting into turn 7. The right front's locking up, and that's where he lost the lead to William Byron. Allmendinger cannot carry the pace on corner entry.
Here's another look at what happened with Leland.
Real hot. Getting slowed down.
Right rear tire down, maybe?
Right rear did look flat.
Yeah.
He was trying to turn in right here. Yeah, you see the right rear completely missing, just a wheel.
We're talking about the 16 car. Watch William Byron trying to make this pass. Watch the smoke come off the right front tire. Some little bit of wisp of it. Here it is. Trying to turn. See right there, the right front's locked up. And now the car's not turning the way it needs to, and that allows William Byron to make this pass.
Not to mention, early in the braking like that, that's where you need to knock the speed out of the car. Now Allmendinger under attack from Ty Gibbs, a crossover. This is into that 6 you mentioned. Gibbs' patience has run out. Contact to the rear bumper. The 16 sends a 16 wide, and the 7 is loving his seat. He's going to keep trying. Here he is by Sam Mayer. Right behind him, SVG says, man, I want to play. Let me into this battle.
He was loving the seat right up until Sam Mayer moved to his outside and tried to take that spot away. Things heating up front here at the Glen. Now up front, it's William Byron.
William Byron taking the race lead away here in this one. Out in front by 1.9 seconds over Ty Gibbs, quickly pulling away after taking the lead nonetheless. Ty Gibbs again still in second place. A.J. Allmendinger is 2.3 seconds back in third. Sam Mayer in fourth, 2.7 seconds off the lead. And 2.7 seconds back is Justin Allgaier in fifth. Shane Van Gisbergen in 3 seconds off the race lead in sixth. Connor Zilich in seventh, 4.3 seconds back. Brandon Jones in eighth, 5.1 seconds off the lead. Sheldon Creed 5.5 seconds back in ninth. And Cole Custer 5.7 seconds back at 10th. That's the top 10 and the interval between those top 10 positions in the running order. You're listening live to the Mission 200 at the Glen for the NASCAR Xfinity Series on KRC. So again, we will have our diecast showing at the end of Stage 2 in this stream. And then we will also close the poll at the end of Stage 2 that is currently open in the chat. Asked you who you thought was going to win this race today. Shane Van Gisbergen at 39% of the votes, still out ahead. That percentage has dropped a bit, though, since we last covered that at the end of Stage 1. 25% have Connor Zilisch winning. 23% have somebody other than Zilisch, Gibbs, or Van Gisbergen winning, and Gibbs getting just 13% of the votes. Other race stats that we have seen so far, Zilisch has led the most laps, led the first 22 from the pole. Of course, every lap in Stage 1. Still the only time he has led, though, he is back in the top 10. William Byron, a current race leader, has led the last 4 laps. Ty Gibbs led for 2, both under caution. He did not lead a green flag lap. That is because AJ Allmendinger got around him initially on the restart. And AJ, as of this point, has led for 5 laps in the race before he lost the lead to Byron. And now obviously has fallen to 3rd with Gibbs getting by him recently. And Byron still pulling Gibbs even during this commercial break. It's a 2.1 second difference now, so a couple tenths quicker that last lap for Byron. He ran a 73.64 to Byron's, Gibbs's rather, 73.82. 74.0 for Zilisch. Van Gisbergen in 774.0. Obviously, those cars back at traffic. Clean air is king for William Byron. You got the old bus stop bus in the bus stop. I remember that when I was at Watkins Glen back in 2019. AJ, visibly upset, I would assume, with the race car. Midway down the front stretch, he had both hands off the wheel, just basically probably yelling explicits into his radio about the drivability of the race car. That's crazy. And he's able to just kind of get back in a rhythm again. He's now 4 seconds off the lead. He just lost the lead, what, 5-6 laps ago? And now he's locking the tires up again, getting down into turn 1 as he tries to hold off Sam Mayer for 3rd to the end of the stage. During the commercial break, Zilisch has closed in on his teammate Allgaier for 5th. They battle for position now at about 4.5 seconds off the race lead.
To kind of improve, you're not sure what you need to do because you're winning, but here they both are, and they look very kind of benign versus the rest of the field.
But I'm going to say the 2 guys that are in front of Allmendinger, pretty doggone good. You got William Byron and Ty Gibbs. You have had success on this course.
Well, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good those guys are.
It doesn't matter.
Chris Rudd, Matt Collins, they got 2 wins. And if they can't give their driver what he needs to make passes like Connor Zilisch just did right there around the right side of the 7, they're going to take it personal. They're going to go to work. That's what racers do. But I do hear what AJ's frustration.
Riding along on the WeatherTech onboard with Shane Van Gisbergen as he tries to get by the 7 of Allgaier down the front stretch once again. And now only 5 laps to go in Stage 2. Here comes the pass as he makes the inside move on Allgaier.
Side by side for 6th, downhill into turn 2. That's Allgaier on the 7th. Van Gisbergen in the 97. For now, Allgaier will win that battle. Watch. Seems Van Gisbergen is on the hunt right now. He had a great run into 1. He backs away. Let's see what he does going into the
Allgaier may have just enough of a gap that SVG's not able to do anything with it. This time at the end of the back straightaway and through the bus stop, and indeed that is the case. These 2 continue to race for the 6th spot. We saw Allgaier's teammate Connor Zilisch, who just got ahead of these 2. Remember, restarted outside the top 10, has charged through the field and has left this duo. So the 88 car had not lost any speed buried in traffic.
Yeah, he's picked up 8 spots since that restart. Done a nice job for a young race car driver. Obviously, the speed is there. But see, no fenders damaged, no tire marks down the side of the car. He's worked himself back into position. He's hit a 97 underneath the 7. Good battle here, but Zilich has worked himself in position to win this race without damaging his race car.
And Steve, what do you tell the crew chief now of that 88? Does he pit with 3 to go?
I don't think anyone's going to pit at the end of this stage. I think there's only one more stop in all their future. So they're going to run this stage out. I mean, some may pit, but as good as this 88 is, I think. Well, there you go. So this is, I believe, the radio in the 97. So he's coming to pit road this time. If you're going to pit, this is the lap to do it. The other option, Rick, is to not pit and you run, about 12 laps into the next stage and only pit one more time. It really depends on how much tire fall off you feel you have. You see Joey Logano on pit road in the 15.
We've got pit stops.
Came out of the window. A little bit of drink. Push it out the window.
SVG cannot get by Justin Allgaier here. So Zilich was able to get by and pass these two. He's moved all the way up to 5th now as he sets his sights on Mayer.
So pit road entry should be busy this time with 3 to go, other than for Byron, who will close pit road the next time around. So there's Byron, stays on the racetrack. Gibbs as well. Allmendinger. So you see the calling entries, both calling entries. Jones coming to pit road. So some split decisions.
Tim.
As you see, Shane Van Gisbergen making his stop. He was reporting it was just way too loose. He needed more overall grip, especially later in the run. A common complaint. The deeper in the run we get, as the crew goes to work on the left side of that court, it's going to be 4 fresh Goodyear tires, snow fuel. It's like air pressure gets no party for him.
They're on debate for Alex Shantz as to whether or not to bring AJ Allmendinger down pit road, but they heard teams around them were going to pit, but they make the call here to come down pit road. Also, Brandon Jones coming down pit road as well as Sheldon Creed. So
They didn't put the windshield wiper down.
because they're not in the window, so they will definitely have to pit against for these cars, but they're trying to do something different than what they think everybody else is going to do. That's the call, Steve.
So to Marty's point about the window, I totally agree. The question mark is, does Byron pit this time around? And do any of the leaders pit at the end of the stage, or are they just trying to jump all the way to the next pit window? A lot of questions still TBD. What we know right now with 3 to go on board with the 97 of SVG, he's leaving pit road. Here comes William Byron. So pit road's closed. No more option for everyone else. So that right there closed pit road. So Byron, Gibbs, Mayer, and Zilich are all going to stay on the racetrack. Zilich jumps out of line, attacking the one of Mayer, 2 Junior Motorsports cars. Connor Zilich. I love what you said, Jeff. Not a dent on this 88. Being very patient, not driving like an 18-year-old.
Right now, he is up to position number 3, just taking that away from his teammate. What a run today for Connor Ziller. Tried to work the race here yesterday, last night, and now working his way back up through the field. Fenders unscathed at the race.
Dominated that ARCA race last night, certainly putting on a performance today that has been quite impressive on its own debut in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Not close enough to get to Ty Gibbs, who's up the road in that second spot, but this has been a spirited drive in stage 2 for Connor Zilich. Restarted 14th, as Jeff said, has clawed his way to 3rd here.
And we talked about college racing and how they don't have the pace on road courses that we expect to see here this weekend. Well, it's things like this that change. Connor Zilich comes in. The Joe Gibbs racing team makes their cars a little better. The Junior Motorsports teams make their cars a little better. Next thing you know, you're playing catch up. That's what's so difficult about this sport. If you do the same thing that worked last year, it's not enough this year. And so if you're going to change something, what do you change? How do you get better? Maybe you make a change, but it makes it worse. When you're on top, people are always trying to beat you. You set a standard. And they've done that on road courses, and others have responded, and now they have pace.
Allmendinger came off the pit road and now running in the 29th position as he's making his way through turn 6 and 7. Out in front, William Byron on the final lap here. He'll make his way through the carousel. And about 4 seconds back is Ty Gibbs. Not even in the screen yet. And so William Byron has done a fabulous job of not only making the passes he needed to make, but stretching it out to where he'll have a convincing win here in stage 2. And across the stripe, William Byron is going to win stage 2 here at the Glen.
You gotta see just how good these leaders are as you see how long it takes for the top 10 to come across the line. But one name worth pointing out, though, is that 39 of Ryan Sieg. Ninth place might not seem like much, but with the 8 car having mechanical issues, that's going to be a big gain. That's stage points. Ryan Sieg doing exactly what he needs to do to find his way into this playoff.
When he came in, he was 44 points behind Sammy Smith. Sammy Smith having troubles. He's going to finish 36 in this stage, but it's William Byron who wins stage 2.
So William Byron, stage 2 winner. Ty Gibbs second. Connor Zilic third. Sam Mayer fourth. Justin Allgaier fifth. Cole Custer sixth. Riley Herbst seventh. Austin Hill in eighth. Ryan Sieg ninth. And Jeremy Clements 10th. Those are all the drivers that receive stage points in stage number 2. First stage win of the Xfinity Series season for William Byron in the 17. So 2 non-full-time Xfinity drivers winning the stages. Both the Chevrolets. First Connor Zilic at stage 1, then William Byron in stage 2. About halfway through today's race, we are just at the end of the second stage, so we will close the poll open in the chat. 126 votes were casted, 38% of those votes taking Shane Van Gisbergen for the win. 26% say Connor Zilic. 22% with other, and Ty Gibbs at 13% of the votes. Appreciate everybody that voted. If you tune in for tomorrow's Cup Series stream, we'll kick things off at 2:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, and we'll have another poll open for that race as well at the time that you can vote then. We'll have our Stage 2 diecast showing here very soon. We'll wait for pit stops to happen first during the stage break, and then we'll go to the diecast showing here for the end of Stage 2. While we're waiting for them to come back from the break, we'll take a break of our own. Again, you're listening live to the Mission 200 at the Glen for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Yeah, there's definitely some Chevys that have some speed for the race tomorrow. SVG and Chastain. Chastain had more pace in practice than SVG. And then on top of beating him in qualifying as well. Remember, Ross does have a win on a road course. He won at COTA 2022. It was the very first road course with this next-gen car. And he tends to have decent finishes.
Motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit Progressive.com. And by Toyota. Let's go, please. All right, race 2 of the SMX playoffs. It's taking place at Texas Motor Speedway this evening, and you got Jet Lawrence, Eli Tomac, and Chase Sexton. All right, Steve, who are we taking out of those 3?
I'm taking the 21-year-old Jet Lawrence out of Australia. Just so much firepower, so much pace. He rides with a little reckless abandon, but hard to beat raw speed. That's what he has.
Yeah, but in that kind of racing, one mistake and you're down, your night's over.
Double points, again, coming up tonight on USA following Xfinity race coverage. Kim, what's going on with the 20? We haven't seen a lot out of Eric Almirola today.
Yeah, during that last run, he said that he lost third gear, he lost fourth gear. He felt like it broke in the carousel. You see the crew member in it, but he's not the only driver that's complained about issues with the transmission. The 48 of Parker Clayman said he lost fourth gear. We're hearing William Byron say he's popping in and out of gear at certain parts of the racetrack. So is this typical, Steve? Are you concerned about any of these race cars?
Well, there's always concern. This is mechanically one of the toughest tracks we run anymore. You would think it's pretty simple, but the curbing is so rough. To be fast here, you have to really put the car in positions it was not designed to run in. And, you know, between track bars, rear suspension, we see the shock mount on the 8, and now the transmission in the 20. I think we've gotten a little accustomed to these cup cars. They're pretty well bulletproof. You can't hurt the transmissions, but these old 4-speeds can still be a bit fragile, and these drivers are finding issues. Driver, you see the crew in there working. I think for the leaders, this is a tough decision right here as well. Byron, Gibbs, Zilich, Mayer. So we had a group of cars that pitted before the end of the stage. So we know where they're at on this. Everybody still needs a pit stop. The question is, do you pit right now if you're William Byron, knowing you have to make another pit stop? Or do you stay out, hope these tires fire up good enough to connect to the next pit stop, right? It's 41 to go right now. We think they can run like 31, maybe a couple more laps of yellow. So you're looking at like a 7-lap green flag run before you have to pit again. And, here's the problem. If you pit and no one else does, you kind of hit your chances. If you stay out and everybody pits, well, now fresh tires are running your rear bumper. That's not going to be very good either.
We see Ty Gibbs currently running second. Take a look at the Toyota driver updates. He has led laps. He has been as far back as 23rd. Right now in that second spot after starting second. There's Grandpa. Coach Gibbs.
Coach and Mom.
Yeah.
The whole family.
Heather up there.
So let's see what everybody does. If I'm William Byron's guy, I'm staying on the racetrack. Same for Ty Gibbs. I can't afford to give up track position. I'd rather put it in my driver's hands with the older tires. Split decision to the front. Allgaier, the first car to come to pit road from the 5th position.
It's like Riley Herbst also. C. Clements, Love, Chastain, Kligerman, Jones, all on pit road. Kim.
And Riley's complained all race long has been just does not have the rear grip he needs. The crew's going to put 4 fresh Goodyear tires on that machine, make a slight air pressure adjustment, no go fuel, Marty.
Kim, remember what Jim Pullman said? He said, I'm going to have to play the points game all day long. It might put me in an odd position to maybe win the race, and I don't love it, but that's what I'm going to have to do. So Jim Pullman making the decision to bring Justin Allgaier down here. They are outside of their fuel window. He leads with the fresh Goodyear tires and the fuel as well. And by the way, in stage 2 there, Ryan Sieg did get 4 stage points. Also, Sammy Smith did not get the free pass. So that points lead has really tightened up here. Now it's just 11 that Ryan Sieg is behind as we sit here before the start of stage 3.
Yeah, you think about it, 33 points, the difference of what has been made up. A beautiful area. If you have the opportunity, come out to the
Really is.
Lake area. There are bits you can take in the beautiful landscape here at Watkins Glen.
Everywhere.
Definitely a nice area of the country. Anywhere really, from what I've heard, up in upstate New York, but Watkins Glen area for sure. A lot of nice smaller towns in the mountainy area to stay in if you're traveling from out of state. Nick Salmon, thanks for tuning in as well. Zilich rookie for 2027 or 2026. So we'll pump the brakes on that. This is his first career Xfinity start. He's looking quick on a road course. Got to see how he does on the ovals as well. But definitely having a strong start, to say the least. Wait for our leaderboard to update once we get this next lap under caution in. And then we will know exactly what the order will be for the restart. Drivers that pitted before the end of stage 2 staying out during the stage break itself, and the cars that did not pit before the end of the stage are pitting during the stage end. Be sure to hit the like button on the stream if you haven't done so yet. We're at 65 likes. Our goal is to get to 100. We have way more than that many people watching, so definitely hit that like button. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. We have live commentary streams every NASCAR race weekend like this. Video game streams, NASCAR side of things during the week. So all NASCAR-oriented channel. Should be an interesting one here down the stretch. Got the Stage 2 diecast showing now. With this being an Xfinity race and Junior Motorsports having a pretty solid day today, I figured, hey, let's get a Dale Jr. diecast in. This is a Oreo Ritz paint scheme from 2002, I do believe. I could be wrong on the year on that. I think it's 02. If I had the box up on top of one of the cases of boxes that I have in there, I would double check on that, but I want to say this is 2002, if I remember correctly. I always liked the Oreo schemes growing up when I was younger. It's a good cookie. Got the milk splash on the paint scheme. The classic number 3. Yeah, Dale Jr. Busch Series scheme. Back in the day. AJ Allmendinger back on pit road.
Yeah, and breaking development for Thomas Munciata. He is actually parked on pit road at his stall, got out of the car. The AMR safety pulled up to his pit stall. They are helping him here. He's going to the care center to get fluids, just got overheated. He does not have a cool suit, I'm being told. The team was 90% sure he did not have a cool suit, but also his head hose, his helmet hose, kept coming in and out, so he was not getting cool air, and ultimately decided it was better that he stop the race and get care.
Yeah, Thomas, he runs in Trans Am, and those cars are historically very hot. So, surprising to see him in this situation. Is you don't know what's happening. He said the helmet hose is coming off, maybe some sort of exposure to something, but we know he's tough enough to do this because the Trans Am car is exceptionally hot.
And Thomas has wins in Spec Miata as well. Well, Friday, again, the NASCAR Xfinity Series is heading to the CW. In Bristol is where it happens. Hall of Famer Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to join the field. He has been spectacular at that racetrack against this field. Again, that's Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, only on the CW. Go to thecw.com/NASCAR to find your local CW station. Past the halfway point of this race, there are 39 laps remaining. And scored out front currently, William Byron. Take a look at the points that were earned today, and Ryan Sieg's name, when you see it, very important for him as he's closing in now on Sammy Smith. Even though only 4 points gained with the problems that Sammy Smith is having, running back in 35th right now, that gap has closed all the way down to 25 points that separate those two with still 1 race remaining.
So at the end of these races, it's obvious that those are the restarts that make the difference. That gives you a chance to win the race. But this is one of those moments during the race. We have the front group of cars that still they're short on fuel. They have to make it to a pit stop, but they're on older tires. SVG and Sheldon Creed, 9th and 10th. Those 2 cars have the precious tires that came right before the end of the stage, right there, the 18 and the 97. This is their moment. They got to go. If they're going to make up time on the older tires before the pit stop, they're going to have to do it. I expect green flag pit stops to be probably 7, 8, 9 laps from now, depending on what your fuel window is. This is going to be exciting on board the 97.
Lap 45 for the restart. 37 laps to go. Green flag is back in the air, and stage 3 is underway at Watkins Glen for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Front of the field, William Byron, after winning stage 2, staying out. Again, a 2-stop strategy for some of these teams, 3 stops for others. Sheldon Creed aggressive, Ty Gibbs rather, aggressive on the restart. On that inside line, making contact with Byron. Byron slides up out of the groove in the S's and loses several positions. Byron now back to 5th. Gibbs leads. Sam Mayer to 2nd and Zilich up to 3rd. And Zilich has a run into the bus stop on his teammate Mayer. Not close enough to try to pounce and make a pass for position. Hard-fought battle for that race lead on the restart through the S's side by side, an area of the track that's so hard to run door to door, and Byron got the worst end of the contact, that's for sure. Did a great job keeping it off the guardrail. He had a big slide there and unfortunately lost 4 positions. So now he's in traffic a bit. Shane Van Gisbergen on fresher tires is in 7th. Trying to get by Austin Hill. Those 2 have a bit of a history. Oh, a couple cars around. Justin Allgaier is off into the sand pit over in turn 6, and it looks like he is stalled. He wasn't able to keep the car rolling like the 87 who had spun with him. A little bit of damage on the left rear corner panel for Allgaier, and this is going to bring out a caution. Caution flag is out with 36 laps to go. So Justin Allgaier bringing out the yellow. He is stuck in the gravel pit. And it'll be interesting to see if he goes a lap down before the safety crews are able to get his car out of there. I don't think they're going to be able to get it tethered up in time, considering the leaders were already in the bus stop by the time the caution flag had waved. Mike Skeen, driver of the 87 car, by the way, who was also collected. But again, he was able to stay in the throttle sliding through the sandpit, so he was able to get out, but Allgaier was not. And don't forget about Allgaier and Custer battling for the regular season championship. If Allgaier falls off the lead lap, doesn't have a great finish here, Custer's in the top 5. I'm not sure what the points gap was, considering that NASCAR.com said it was 34, even though that was from the week before that. So I don't know what it was exactly coming into the week, but it's got to be somewhere in the ballpark around that many points. And a lot of that could be gained here in this final stage.
Right now,
He's definitely going a lap
he's all
down.
lap down.
Yeah.
So this could tighten things up as far as the regular season championship.
And
Just
also
mention
the
that,
problem
Rick.
is they can Danny Smith race it forward. He gets back to the lead lap here.
So Sammy Smith gets the free pass with this caution flag coming out. First caution for incident so far today. Again, that happened in turn 6 on the first lap following the restart to begin stage 3. Third caution total in the race with the 2 stage yellows at lap 20 and lap 40. And caution with 36 laps to go here at Watkins Glen. The others who didn't pit might pit now. They're definitely going to be closer to the fuel window by the time we restart, but they were probably 6-7 laps out. I think we'll get this restart in before then, but it'll be interesting if somebody tries to risk it. We've seen fuel mileage races a ton over the years here at Watkins Glen. I guess it wouldn't be surprising if we see another one here today with the timing of this caution. I mean, they didn't even get a full lap in. Well, the leaders did, I guess, technically, but so they got one full lap. I don't know. See how it all works itself out. Up to 75 likes, still well shy of 100. So be sure to hit that like button. Appreciate everybody tuning in here today. Also hit the subscribe button too. Over 50% of viewers on the channel in the last 28 days are not subscribed. So be sure to hit the subscribe button. Appreciate you guys tuning in every weekend though. At the very least. So Gibbs got to the lead on the restart. Leads 1 lap under green and then the caution immediately after. Now, Allgaier might lose 2 laps. Doesn't seem like it's taken them an awfully long time to get him hooked up and get, safety crews over there to get him out of that gravel pit. It kind of hurt him that it stayed green as long as it did. If the caution would have came out more, right away as soon as he was stuck instead of having the green flag out for about a half a lap before the caution came out, then he might have only lost 1 lap. I mean, if he only loses 1 lap anyway, it doesn't matter, but we got some cars coming to pit road, going to top off and maybe try to stretch the window here.
Gravel pit coming off turn 6. There was also, you see a lot of cars making their way onto pit road. Pit stops happening right now, Marty.
This ought to be interesting. So you see Sheldon Creed, also Austin Hill coming down pit road, both of them in the top 10, or Creed just outside the top 10, I should say. Going to be 4 fresh Goodyear tires for the 21 of Austin Hill. Fuel only for the 18 of Sheldon Creed. AJ Allmendinger also taking on their last set of Goodyear tires. And so this is outside the window to be able to make it to the end of the race. However, you get a lot of caution. Who knows? Might be able to make it to the end of the race here at Watkins Glen.
AJ Allmendinger really didn't have much of an option, right? He had to pivot that flat left front tire into the last yellow. So You know, you can't give up something you don't have, and he didn't have track position, so why not come and take a little bit more Sunoco fuel?
Another very strange thing happened at the front of the pack. The caution comes out. Ty Gibbs, Salmare, Connor Zillage. Caution's out. For some reason, they do not go through the inner loop. They decide to go straight. That is against the rules. You have to make that inner loop. If you don't, you have to stop to serve a penalty. All three of those guys, Steve, under caution, went through the loop.
Yeah, so
Well, that's
that
weird.
should be tail end of the field because when you miss or shortcut the course, it's against the rules. Doesn't matter if it's under yellow or under green. NASCAR is now saying that all three of those cars, Gibb, Mayer, and Zillage, will all start at the rear. Let's listen to the driver of the one.
No, I didn't realize that they're locked up with anything. Now, the field for that.
No, sir. That is inaccurate. The field is not frozen under yellow. The field is set with the loop lines, but you're continuing to race. You come down pit road, you lose spots. If you're saving gas and your car doesn't start, you lose spots. You're still competing under yellow. You can't shortcut the course.
And why is that the penalty?
I don't even know why they did that.
Saving fuel under caution. You could just have it shut all the way off and drive through the inner loop and maintain pace. That would be an unfair advantage. So I understand why these guys are a little confused, but you have to know the rules. And NASCAR makes it very clearly that you, under no circumstance, can you go through that and shortcut it without stopping to serve a penalty.
Yeah, I don't even see how they're.
They get brain damage.
It's
They must have. I don't know what they were doing there.
Thought to and further knew what they were doing.
Yeah, all three of them. It was kind of a follow leader. It's like Gibbs missed it, so then Mayer was like, all right, I'm going to miss it. And then Zillage is like, okay, I'm going to miss it too. Luckily, Cole Custer had the wherewithal not to miss the bus stop as well. So to the tail end of the lead lap here for this next restart will be the 19-1 and the 88, who are all the top three. That will bump Cole Custer, who was in fourth, to the lead. William Byron Fitz, Shane Van Gisbergen was in sixth. He's going to be third. I haven't seen that before. That's a new one. What a wild scenario to happen there. Joey going to restart in the top 10 now. Yep, he's up to 8th. And he started outside the top 30, I believe. Or right around 30th. So it's been a slow climb for Logano to get through the field to where he's at. Chastain started deep in the field as well. Is up to 11th. Those two obviously not in anywhere near the equipment they would be on Sunday, comparison to the rest of the field. So great job by both those Cup Series veterans. Cole Custer out in front. We'll take another break while we await this next restart. You're listening live to the Mission 200 at Watkins Glen on KRC for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I like that comment. They get brain damage. I don't know. I've never seen that before. That's a first. Have to let me know in the chat if you guys have ever seen anything like that before, because I definitely haven't. I don't know why they thought that they could just not take the bus stop under caution. Definitely a different circumstance, to say the least. Should be getting closer to this restart. I would assume they've got Allgaier's car out of the gravel pit by now. Probably this time by, if I had to guess.
Tomorrow, it is the IndyCar finale from Nashville. Who will win the Astor Cup, be the series champion? Coverage on NBC and Peacock at 3 p.m. Eastern. Right now, it's Alex Palous to lose. The pole today was won by Kirkwood at 201.5 miles per hour
Wow.
average. Nashville. That is flying.
That's insane.
33 points back in that battle for the championship.
That's a mile and a third racetrack, and that's an average lap of over 200.
34 laps. It'll be 33 when they come around this time remaining in this race.
This 32 of Austin Green, you see him running these road races. He's been very, very good on this type of racetrack. He can mix it up with these guys.
Xfinity Series champion David Green, his father. As we get ready for the green flag, it'll be 33 laps of racing remaining. Custer on the inside.
All right, lap 50 restart, green flag back in the air. We got Cole Custer now in the lead. He's got the inside line for the front row. It's been kind of 50-50 on whether the inside or the outside line has been the best on the restarts. Cole Custer on the inside is going to do a great job as he ends up with the lead. 3 wide, a little further back, just outside the top 10. Actually, just inside the top 5, nearly 3 wide into the S's. Riley Herbst and Chandler Smith making a pass on Austin Green in the 32. Green starting to fall backwards just a bit. Klingerman also gets by him for 6th. Green trying to settle in. Joey Logano, Chastain behind him as well. 1, 2, 3 at the front of the field. Custer, Byron, Van Gisbergen. And it'll be interesting to see what Zilich, Gibbs, and Mayer can do at the tail end of the lead lap, restarting 30th, 31st, and 32nd. 33 laps to go. Not everybody hit pit road during that caution. So some drivers topped off on fuel, some did not. And I wonder if the 3 cars that had to go to the back of the lead lap, if they just ended up topping off. Might as well at that point. I would assume that they probably would have topped off. Point difference as well between Sammy Smith and Ryan Sieg as we run 24 points on that final cutoff spot. That's what Smith in 27th and Sieg currently running 11th. Final race of the regular season at Bristol next week for the Xfinity Series. But as we go on with the battle for the race win at the front of the field, got a Ford, 2 Chevys, another Ford and a Toyota in the top 5 in the manufacturer race. Custer did win 2 races on road courses last season at Portland and Chicago in the street race. That was 2 of his 3 wins last year. The only other win was at Phoenix in the finale. 1 win this year for Cole Custer, which came just a few weeks ago. Trying to go for win number 2. Byron is right there, though, off the exit of turn 7, looking to the inside. Side by side for the lead. Byron hanging on the right rear corner panel of Custer will try to make the dive and the charge into turn 1. In the braking zone, Byron easily clears, and I think Custer might have let him go there. Let him go, dive in line, don't lose another position by giving up the bottom. Now he is in dirty air behind the 17. And SVG is going to have to get by Custer quickly here. He doesn't want William Byron to pull away. And Gisbergen, a little bit different line through the S's than Custer. Just trying to get as much clean air on the nose as he could through the center of the corner. Slight better turn in the race car. Closes immensely in the bus stop. And even more so into turn 5 as he rolls the center of the corner better than the 0-0. Trying to get the run in the draft now down this next straightaway for turn 6. And we'll see if SVG can also make another run at it in turn 7 like Byron did the lap before. Custer a bit wide off the exit of the corner. SVG's close, but not close enough to make the pounce yet. Well, maybe he's going for it anyway. From quite a ways back, SVG buries the car down into turn 1 and still gets by Custer. Great move. And Custer's in danger of losing even more spots. His teammate Herbst cuts him a bit of a break. Herbst had a chance, but didn't stay committed to trying to go side by side in the S's. Played it smart. Still 30 laps to go. Pulling out a line, a little bit of a defensive line for Herbst headed to the bus stop, just trying to keep the 81 behind him while he still has a chance to get by his teammate for third. SVG overdrives turn 5 a bit. Big power slide in the middle of the corner by Van Gisbergen. I'd assume if they pit early in this run to get within the fuel window that they would end up going fuel only. Or they're going to just try to run this out as far as they can. And we could see a fuel mileage race to the finish. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Nope, Byron's coming into pit, in fact, right now. 29 to go at the line. William Byron going to pit. So he's going to have one lap of fresh tires, it seems like. Van Gisbergen will lead his first lap of the race now after starting at the tail end of the field today.
On that left side attack, so he'll get 4 fresh Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel last up of the day for William Byron.
Windshield wiper snapped on the 17. Jackman, I think. Jackman, tire changer, tire carrier, whoever smacked the windshield down after taking the tear off, the windshield just completely snapped in half. That might be laying on pit road now. Meanwhile, the 98 and the 81 are door-to-door through the bus stop. Banging fenders just a bit there. Chandler Smith going to make the pass for 4th. Herbst trying to hold him tight. And Kligerman now in the picture to try to get by Herbst as well for position. Off the rumble strips from the exit of turn 5. In the chute between 6 and 7. Kligerman looking low. Goes back in line to the outside to arc the corner off. 3-car battle for 3rd. On the racetrack. We'll see if Custer or Van Gisbergen pit this time. Custer's pitting. Van Gisbergen stayed out. So Custer's now on pit road.
It's Cole Custer. Looks like he's going to make his stop with ready for that. Cole Custer now particularly in earlier in the run. He wasn't overdriving it. He felt like he was better now. Just needs a little bit more grip for this last run as they take 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel.
Jeff, it surprises me that he could go down the back stretch or the front stretch in 3rd gear and not do damage to this motor.
Well, he could lift early and just never let it get above the RPMs. That's the only thing you could do.
The only spot you run 4th gear is usually into the bus stop. I think in race speed, you can run this front stretch and the longer straightaway out of the carousel, this one right here coming at you. You can run this in 3rd gear. You might have to lift a little early on this straightaway, but into the bus stop, it would definitely be a disadvantage.
It just surprises me that he could make it work on that restart because he would be so slow down the back straightaway. See, into turn 1, around it goes.
And remember, he's in a very tight battle with Sammy Smith for that final spot in the playoffs with just Bristol in front of him. Chandler Smith.
Sounds like the call for Chandler Smith is going to be left sides only. A little strategy call here. Maybe turn especially through the carousel. So 2 tires only for Chandler Smith.
Interesting.
Stop for the 81 as we see Clements in the 51. And the outside of that 19 of Ty Gibbs and right into the S as they go.
19, Sam Mayer is trying to rally it up after being put to the tail end. They've got a lot of work to do, but they are making progress. Let's get the turn.
Made decent progress. They run 13th. Ty Gibbs does in the 19, and Sam Mayer behind him in the 1 is 14. So about halfway to where they need to be with 27 to go. Here's Parker Retzloff as well, trying to fend off a hard-charging Gibbs, who certainly probably has a chip on his shoulder, knows he's got a fast race car, just has to be patient enough to find the right time to get around some of these cars in front of him.
Yeah, remember, also Connor Zillage in the 88 car, he was penalized at the same time. He has gotten up to 8th, so he's gotten away from these 2.
Connor Zillage, after starting on pole, winning the first stage, and then the issue where he followed what he thought was a couple of veterans through the bus stop area and blew through that, was penalized, had to restart in the back, and has worked his way back up to now the 6th position. All right, Steve, when do you stop if you're SVG? How far is too far?
Well, I think right now they're trying to run long enough to make sure they get some fresh tires. The fear is if the yellow comes out, people that have already come to pit road will stay on the racetrack. I'm not They have pitted. Currently, we just saw the 81 take 2 tires. We've seen William Byron on and off pit road. So I think for SVG, he's probably trying to wait to see how many folks that is. The 88 Connor Zillage is putting on an absolute clinic, though, as he drives up to the 5th position. He's fast enough that you have to wonder, do you just come on down, take a splash of fuel, and go right back out? You probably can cycle in front of William Byron. I'm not sure this 88 needs fresh tires. It'd be gas only for the 88. I think he could drive it to the win.
Again, he was on pit road at lap 48, but it's SVG out in front looking good. 4 in a row for road course wins.
We'll just have to see if he can do just that. We'll go through the full field running order with 25 laps remaining in this race. Shane Van Gisbergen with a 3.1 second lead as he stays out of the pits again that last time by the exit of turn 7. He's got Riley Herbst second, Parker Kligerman third, Ed Jones fourth, Connor Zillage fifth, Jesse Love in sixth, Sheldon Creed is seventh, AJ Allmendinger in eighth, Brandon Jones ninth, Ty Gibbs is 10th, Sam Mayer in 11th, Parker Retzlaff in 12th, 13th for Jeremy Clements, Jeb Burton 14th, Matt DiBenedetto 15th, 16th for Sammy Smith, Josh Williams 17th, Josh Bilicki 18th, Anthony Alfredo 19th, and Ryan Ellis is 20th. R.C. Anderson 21st, Ryan Sieg 22nd, Austin Hill 23rd, Chandler Smith 24th, and William Byron 25th. Cole Custer 26th, Brandon Poole 27th, Joey Logano 28th, Ross Chastain 29th, Austin Green 30th. 31st, Mike Skeen, Eric Almirola 32nd, Justin Allgaier lap down in 33rd. 34th for Leland Honeyman, Alan Day 35th, Kyle Sieg 36th, Thomas Annunziata 37th, and Kyle Weatherman 38th, and that rounds out the running order. As of right now. So they mentioned about Thomas Annunziata leaving his race car. They have found a replacement driver for him, but they did not mention anything about it on the broadcast at all. So somebody is driving that 35 car. And if anybody can let me know in the chat who it is, it'd be greatly appreciated. I have not heard them mention that on the broadcast at all, though. Annunziata had left because of an overheating issue, but the car is only 4 laps down, so somebody is driving that car. Because it was in the middle of the stage end when he had gotten pulled out of it, which would have been with 42 to go. So we ran 18 laps since then. The car's 4 laps down. Somebody's driving the 35 car, and we don't know who it is. It's a weird phenomena. All right. Robert Carr, thanks for tuning in. Also, not sure what that comment was exactly, but thanks for tuning in. Falcon Eye, thanks for tuning in as well. I'd step in if they needed a new driver. Yeah, I don't know who's in that car. Somebody was slow. That SVG just passed getting into the bus stop. Not sure who that might have been. Maybe it's a 35 car. 32 cars on the lead lap at this point. Average speed of 92.12 miles per hour. 22 laps to go at the line this time by for Van Gisbergen. We'll have to wait and see when he is going to want to pit. Of everybody that has been to pit road, Van Gisbergen is the last driver out on the racetrack of those that did not pit either during or after the stage end.
So, lap 48 was the last time they were on pit road. That's 34 laps. Even if he's 1 or 2 laps short, this 88 has so much pace that I think he could get out front and then slow the pace down to try to save gas. I assume it's no more pit stops for the 88, Marty.
And that's sort of the plan so far.
Sort of the plan so far. That didn't really answer any questions.
And a moment ago was Jesse Love, who's now falling back tonight. Now he leads through that C strategy. And once he got in front of those cars, it was a radio transmission.
Williams, 1 gallon. I didn't and let it roll, and then straight away inside. It's easy and let it roll a bit. Yep, right.
I see Balky through 2 laps short here at Watkins Glen with 22 to go. Could he save that much fuel starting right now?
Absolutely. With 20 laps to go, I think you can actually save 2 laps. We just talked to Scott Maxim just yesterday in the Cup Series garage, and we had this conversation. So, Scotty, has everybody saved gas the same way? Is there something we're not sure of? He said, look, it's still old school. Think about it like this. If there's brake heat, you're not saving gas because that means you're slowing the car down. So try to use less brake. Let the car roll the best you can. The other interesting thing is these cars still have carburetors. So stay off the curbing. The more you bounce off the curbing, the more you spill fuel over in the carburetor. It gets to be very inefficient. So the question is, does the 18-year-old have all of those skill sets like a veteran? I bet he does. He races enough stuff. And these drivers are so prepared anymore. I bet he knows exactly what he needs to do to save fuel efficiently.
Well, see, he does race enough stuff, but the stuff he races, you never have to save either. The races aren't all that long. He's got this solid.
If you start an engine, you save gas.
24-hour Daytona.
Yep.
He's run endurance races, so I think he's been in fuel saving mode. But every car is different. And how do you save fuel in this car? I think what he needs as a young driver is just the information. His crew chief can be telling him, all right, here's what we need you to do. We don't need you to run fast. We're not worried about lap time at the moment. What we need you to do is save fuel, and here's how you save fuel.
His last lap, it was the second fastest lap of anybody on the track. Is that saving fuel?
Well, they're giving him this gap back to the 19. They feel like that's their issue. If you look at the radios, I'm reading them right now. Hey, this much for back to the 19. You have this big of a gap. Just keep doing what you're doing. So they're coaching them along.
And Van Gisbergen still out front. Herbst, Kligerman, and Zilich running fourth, Bagman.
Right now, Zilich trying to be very smooth, exercise a lot of finesse up the hill and through the S's. Right now, he is in turn 4 as he eases his way onto the backstretch.
Can't save a ton through that part of the race like right here. Right there, he is out of the throttle already, coasting that car down the end of the back straightaway and smoothly, as gently as possible, through the bus stop hill to get back on it here to get the car pointed and turned around through the carousel. But another opportunity to save if he gets off this corner well, another chance to save fuel at the end of this straightaway before he hits turn 6.
Well, you can see by the data, he's wide open in the gas, right? He's not part throttle, but lift a little bit early. Don't use a lot of brake. You know, he's heavy in the brake there, but maybe not for as long as he normally would be. It's just rolling speed. Don't slow the car down, as Steve said. You know, the more brake you use, the more fuel that you're going to be used because you have to build that speed back up.
You see the gap between off throttle and on brake right there. That was a long time between throttle and brake.
Actually, locked the right front up right there. So that tells me he's still attacking the corners.
And back up the S's he goes.
Yeah, up the hill through the S's, and he's full throttle. He has to be to get to the top of the hill. Right now, he works his way onto the back straightaway. So right now, he is 4th, and he is some 9 seconds off the race leader.
And he did lift early again here at the end of the backstretch before he makes the turn through the bus stop. Can cruise a little bit through here, coast a little bit perhaps, but you got to be back into the gas here at the exit of that portion of the racetrack, but just guiding the car as smoothly as he can through the long right-hander of turn number 5 and back onto the short stretch before turn 6.
And again, he won the ARCA race here yesterday and now trying to win here in the Xfinity Series in his start. Let's listen in on his radio.
24 hours of flavor here from us. Lap 5 of the 70-40 lap. This lap, I know you lit this for. 74-12. Giving me a little bit more there. Go guys. 4 second attraction to 8.
So they're not even talking about what's in front of them, right? No conversation about that. They're convinced everybody in front of them has to pit. So the only thing that matters is what's behind you, Kill.
And Riley Herbst picks up last pit stop of the day for freshman year tires. Notebook Gill. They were about 3 and a half laps short. They have to come again. He's looking for a solid day as Riley Herbst finishes up service.
Good point, Jeff. Very clear description. Last time by from the 88. I just want you to manage the gap to the 18 in your mirror. I like that. He's a young driver. Just tell him what he's doing. The guy behind you, use as little fuel as possible and stay in front of him.
So again, Creed came on lap 47, so a lap sooner than Silich. So he has got a little less fuel in that 18 that is behind him. Mark.
Rick, I want to give a shout out to Sammy Smith, who, yes, after having a broken right rear shock and a broken right rear shock mount, was down the lap for much of this race, is sitting in 12th, also saving a little bit of fuel, trying to make it all the way to the end. And check out the playoff bubble. On a day when he had all those problems, Kim, he's actually going to add points as of right now over Ryan Sieg, heading into the final race of the regular season.
And as we speak, Parker Fetterman making his last stop today. Remember, he's doing this race with only 3 gears. They are going to take 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Sunoco fuel on that for Parker Kligerman.
A little bit longer stop there for Parker as crew gets him out of the stall and back onto pit road. And he'll make his way back. Turn 1 here and back onto the track. Van Gisbergen still on the track, and he has a 10-second advantage over now Connor Zilich. And we know that Van Gisbergen has to stop. He was on pit road at lap 37. So is he going to the end of his fuel window, Steve? Is that what he's trying to do here? What would the goal be of staying out this long?
I think at this point, he's hoping to get a yellow. We normally don't say that for road courses. It seems backwards. But if you get a yellow here, there's going to be a whole bunch of cars that pit and put on fresh tires. So he could probably start mid-pack instead of giving up more time. Plus, as the leader, his lap times are unbelievable. So pitting's not going to help him a whole lot. You know, he's still gaining time off all of the drivers that are back there. Now that the field is spread out, when SVG comes to pit road and puts 4 tires on, he's got to come back out in like the 20th position, which is going to be in the middle of traffic. So I think they're just kind of waiting to make sure that the tires are a big advantage when they put them on.
4th gear and down that backstretch and heading right towards you, Dylan.
Couple down CS for SVG. And you hear the call for a few cars to head to pit road. Van Gisbergen works out of the bus stop and around turn number 5, nice and smooth. He's been perfect so far today, doing a nice job controlling this field, Cam, as Byron's into the pits.
This is an unscheduled stop. Said something's wrong with the front tire vibration. The team said we'll be ready as they brought him down on the left, and they will change all 4 tires. Could not understand if it was a right front or left front tire vibration on the 17 of William Byron.
And we see 17 rolling off pit road. We're anticipating there's the 97. So Van Gisbergen gives up the lead. That'll put Connor Zilich back up front here for this field. Kim.
And they had told him 10 laps ago, give us everything you can as SVG makes his stop. His biggest complaint has been just loose all day long. Just a tear right there. A little trouble there with the windshield wiper. 4 fresh Goodyear tires and a bunch of fuel for SVG.
SVG, you see on the left side, only down to 7. The field is so spread out now, 8. I have him rejoining maybe in the 16th to 18th range as cars continue to race by. But with 15 to go and brand new tires, I mean, I don't think he's in contention to win. It's going to be fun to watch as he comes through traffic. Now it's really just a cat and mouse game of fuel savings up front. The 88 of Zilich with about a 4-second lead over Creed. Right behind Creed is Gibbs, 7.5 seconds back. Allmendinger, 8 seconds back. How about Brendan Jones? You know, what if they all ran out of gas in front of him, Jeff? I mean, if the 9 wins, it would completely upset the playoff picture.
Brandon's done a nice job today. He's had pretty good pace. And if you're an SVG fan, not good news. Speeding on pit road.
Oh.
That's serve a penalty.
So he'll do a pass through, and that could pretty much eliminate the possibility of SVG making it 4 straight road course wins for his starts.
That's too bad. He's running 15th after the pit stop, so you never know with yellows and all that. But to your point, Jeff, this penalty's going to be the end of it.
Connor Zilich is out front. He has a 4-second advantage, but does he have enough fuel? 14 laps to go.
All right, 14 laps remain here at Watkins Glen. Connor Zilich with a 4.1 second lead over Sheldon Creed. Ty Gibbs is in third. AJ Allmendinger fourth. Brandon Jones fifth. Sam Mayer sixth. Jesse Love seventh. Jeremy Clements eighth. Jeb Burton ninth. Josh Williams is 10th. Late going. SVG serving his penalty on pit road right now. Passed through after speeding on pit road during his green flag stop just a few laps ago. We'll take our final break of the race. You're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR Xfinity Series Mission 200 at the Glen. Here we are late in another NASCAR Xfinity Series race where Sheldon Creed is running in second. I mean, it is unbelievable at this point. He might have 20 second place finishes before he gets his first win at this rate. He's got, what, 4 of them this season? It's just absurd. This one, he never really spent much time in the top 5, so to get a second place finish out of it is definitely better than the car is. I mean, you look at those 3 guys at the end of stage 2, or beginning of stage 3, actually, who ended up missing the bus stop under caution. Gibbs, Mayer, and Zilich. I guess Zilich is back out in front of him, but he is ahead of Gibbs and Mayer as they didn't get through traffic as well as the 88 did. Aggressive battle for position between Parker Kligerman and Riley Herbst for 16th on the racetrack. A little contact down into turn 1. 48 into the back of the 98. And SVG, after the pass-through penalty, lost 9 more positions from 15th back to 24th. He's 48.5 seconds off the lead. So if you're wondering where he has cycled post-penalty, 24th again is where SVG currently sits. 12 laps to go for Zilich as he continues on around this 2.45 mile 7-turn road course in upstate New York. Can he save enough gas and win his first career race in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and his first career start after qualifying on the pole? This is shades of Ty Gibbs from the Daytona road course in 2021. Remember, part-time, he ran his first career race on a road course, won from the pole. Zilich trying to do the same here. The difference is Zilich has dominated when he's been out in front. Gibbs that day, he barely led any laps. Was able to capitalize on a late race overtime restart. But here in this one, although caution comes out, Zilich will be able to save more fuel. I don't think he wants that kind of pressure. Maybe he does. Maybe he's short and needs a caution. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. Zilich won the ARCA race yesterday at Watkins Glen, so trying to get the sweep for the 2 races he is running this weekend. He's won several ARCA races this year. And hasn't won in the Truck Series despite running full-time there. He had a pole at COTA earlier in the season. Ran top 3 for most of the day, but this one, great performance in his Xfinity debut.
He has enough fuel to make it to the end, but the engine is going to try.
So let's talk about what we have going on. We have a cat and mouse game. 88 leading. Last on lap 48. Creed second. Gibbs, Allmendinger. You see on the left side the last time they're on pit road. So they're all kind of in the same bucket. How fast can you go? How much fuel can you save? Who are you racing against? Someone in the top 8, I believe, will make it. Maybe multiple guys. But let's not sleep on Chandler Smith, running in 9th. Last on pit road at lap 55. He is the first exclamation point. Without a doubt, he can make it on fuel. I think ones in front of him will save and be creative. I just don't know which one or how many of those. Mark.
Steve, as soon as a half lap ago, Connor Zilich was told, hey, keep saving for us. That's still our game plan. Meanwhile, to the point you guys were making, Sheldon Creed being told the opposite by his crew chief, Sam McCauley. Listen in.
The 88 might try to stretch it, but I think we're just going to keep pushing hard here.
So they're being told push hard for Sheldon Creed. I just checked in with Sam McCauley, Steve. He said, we're thinking we have to do a splash and go. We're not worried about second fuel. We're worried about lap time. But he's got 5 seconds to make up.
Now, the part that hurts your feelings is when you're worried about lap time and the guy saving gas is running 0.6 of a second faster than you. And that's what Connor Zilich, Jeff, you and I say this all the time. Fast cars make every strategy work.
It's a big battle here going on. between
Somebody cut his mic off.
68 of Riley Herbst, the 00 of Cole Custer. Parker Kligerman there in the 48 as they come out of turn 7 and onto the front stretch once again. And these drivers are 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th. Is this group that we're looking at as Parker Kligerman slides that right front tire as they go through turn 1.
They come now setting up the entry to turn 2. Parker gets the good run into 1. He opened up the inside line, completed the pass before he got to turn 2. So Kligerman in the 48 will take the spot, being followed now by the 00 of Cole Custer on turn 4.
And these two have sorted that battle out. That was for the 15th spot as they work down the back straightaway. Here comes the inner loop. Drop a couple gears. Kligerman still nursing that wounded transmission all the way around this race course. Custer not able to do anything with him right there as you see Austin Hill to the left of the screen there. He's fourth position as they all race for 14th. Hill goes wide and opens the door up for Kligerman in a battle for position all 5.
And Austin Hill is way up the racetrack, able to carry good speed on corner exit, but he's waving Parker Kligerman by. Makes you wonder if Austin Hill has something going on with his car. He's not happy with it at all.
So Austin Hill on the outside might be trying to save some fuel as he lets that 48 go by. The 00 now behind him. Parker Kligerman very close to the wall there, and you see him wave the thank you to Austin Hill as they go back into turn number 1. Riley Herbst making the pass on the inside.
And they come now for the S's. Watching Riley Herbst in that Watkins 98 will make his way through turn 2. As Parker Kligerman now tries to make his way through, trying to get by Zach DeBenedetto. He's going to have to make the outside lane line as DeBenedetto had the inside lane landline.
There are several cars in this grouping that all pitted on different laps. Austin Hill pitted on lap 49, so he very well may be in a fuel save mode. Parker Kligerman pitted on 65, so he is go, go, go. Custer pitted on 54, so everybody kind of on their own different game plan here. That may be why you see some comers and goers in this 15, 16, 17 range. Here's a battle for second into 1, though.
Yeah, you worry about, if Austin Hill feels like he has to save that much. He pitted on lap 49. Tyler Zillage he has a lap more on his fuel. So if he's that worried about it, how's Zillage going to make it?
Here they come across the tree. Ty Gibbs in the 19. Powering the second. 6.3 seconds behind. This is a great battle for second.
And Gibbs pitted on the same lap as Zillage, lap 48. So those two on a little bit more even playing field. But 6 seconds is the gap that Gibbs has got to find a way to make up over the final 8 laps if he is going to try to save fuel at the same time and make it to the end here, kind of on the same strategy that Zillage is on. So compelling battle here. Creed is, as we've already talked about, he is just trying to go. He expects to have to make another stop here before the end.
Zillage and Gibbs both came to pit road on lap 48, and so they are trying to save the same amount of fuel. Problem for Gibbs is he's 6.5 seconds behind Connor Zillage, and Zillage now is probably going to work his way back to Gibbs to save as much fuel as he can to make sure he gets to pit road or to get to the finish line, as we see coming to pit road now, Sheldon Creed. And now it's 7 laps to go here at Watkins Glen. Morning.
So Sam McCauley making the safe call here for a championship contending team. Just stick the fuel, make sure they can make it to the end. Again, they told him, hey, we can't save enough to be able to compete with those other guys. Now the question is, even though this is going to be on fuel only for the 18, how far back will that drop him in the field? That's going to be the question.
Slash and go for Creed as he'll come up.
So 6.5 laps to go, a little less than that now. For Connor Zillage in the 88, his Xfinity Series debut. Can he save enough gas and get the win? It is by no means over. He's going to have to save a lot more gas. It almost doesn't even seem like he's been saving a whole lot when you consider the fact his lap times have been so quick. AJ Allmendinger, for instance, back in third, 17 seconds off the lead. AJ was 2 seconds slower that last lap than Zillage. Zillage still 6 seconds ahead of Gibbs in second. Again, AJ Allmendinger 18 seconds off the lead, but he is 2 seconds slower a lap. That last lap, AJ was about 1.5 seconds slower than Zillage. And I think that's the veteran instincts for AJ. Been in this series a while, has probably been in this situation numerous times. Zilich has not. And it doesn't help also if we get somebody stalling out. Matt DiBenedetto has stopped in the bus stop. Had some black smoke coming out of the pipes of his race car, And the caution is out with 6 laps to go. So caution is out because of Matt DiBenedetto stalling. And this is not going to push us to overtime, but it gets a couple of laps ran under caution. Should be able to restart before we go into overtime and run more laps than the scheduled and advertised distance. You would imagine Zilich, Gibbs, Allmendinger, Jones, all those that haven't pitted as recent, you would imagine they're going to stay out. And Sheldon Creed, who just topped off on fuel, is in 8th. Has to be thinking, well, that was a great timing for a caution. Because now he can really attack. Though it's all going to be for naught if we see quite a few other drivers, make it on fuel in front of him. But did not take tires either. Fire coming out from underneath the car. So I saw the black smoke underneath the 38. And that would be because there were some parts on fire. So this will bring an end to the afternoon for Matty D. And under caution here at Watkins Glen.
He has enough fuel, he can make it. You have Sheldon Creed now, who scored 8th.
That's the one I'm watching. Well, he didn't get tires.
That's the
No, he
problem. I
flashed
didn't
it.
love the idea of putting gas only in the car, but I wasn't sure if he had a set of tires left, right? It's easy to say, put tires on, but with the tire count here in Xfinity, I'm not sure if he had tires left. Look, I think Zilich is the fastest car by a mile. I think he is saving a ton of gas running 75-second laps. I don't think he's anywhere near pushing it. I mean, I think he had the fastest car. The question is, has he saved enough fuel? These cautions will help, but now you're not going to save for the 2 you get on the sprint to the finish. It's going to be wide open at that point.
Well, Ty Gibbs last year was involved in the same situation. Ty Gibbs started on the outside, enter turn 1, and Sam Mayer came in there and cleaned him out. So we have seen aggression at the end of these races.
Sam Merrill goes on to get the checkered flag. That's the question now. What do you do to get the win? And who's in a position where they're hungry for that win? Allmendinger hasn't won this year. So
Brandon Jones.
Brandon Jones, yes, another one.
In 4th place. Brandon Jones has to win a race to make the playoffs. That's the only way. It's the only way forward. Only 2 races left to go this week in Bristol. Brandon Jones starting in row 2. It's going to be pushing hard, no question.
Kim, what about the 19?
19 of Ty Gibbs currently in the 2nd position, being told max save. Remember, he won this race back in 2021, was passed for the win in 2022, and then that footage you showed last year being bumped by Sam Mayer. So this for Ty is a redemption race. In fact, crew chief Seth Chalkeye told me for the whole team it's a redemption race because earlier this season they felt like they were so fast at Sonoma and Chicago and just let a win fall through their fingers. So Marty, we're going to see if Ty Gibbs does have, in fact, enough gas to finish out this race.
Let's chat with Andrew Overstreet, the crew chief for Connor Zilich, who's been so impressive today. And I asked him, how you doing? He said, man, this is a little more stressful than I would like. So does this caution help you obviously make it easier to make it to the end of the race?
It gets us closer, gets us to our number, but he's been saving as much as he possibly can these last 20 laps. So he keeps saving and he got faster. So I know he's tired of us telling him to back it up, but he's done a phenomenal job all day. We're just great to have Carolina Carports on and give a good show for them, and let's see if we can finish it off.
You guys did so much coaching there. Were you worried he was not going to make it had it gone green?
No, because he has all of his experience with the 24 Hours Daytona and all the IMSA stuff. And we talked about it with Scott Speed and Josh Wise this week of what to do to try to save. And unfortunately, that caution put us in a spot where we had to save, and we're just try to, hopefully we got enough to finish this race off.
Connor Zilich has been so impressive on the pole. He's led the most laps today and in a possible position to win this race as well. And here's an interesting move. You see Jesse Love coming down pit road. So Danny Stockman making the call to come down for these fresh tires, Steve. That's going to be fun to see what the 2-car can do on this restart.
Yeah, fresh tires full of fuel, and he's probably banking on or hoping that we get a couple of these restarts. 4 to go right here. We'll see if we get 1 to go back there in the bus stop. If we do, we'll take the green with 3 to go.
And the action will pick up tomorrow as the Cup Series will take on Watkins Glen for the second race of the playoffs.
Here we go. It's right up to there. Watkins Glen. 90 laps. Let's say walked in. Out of the mindset all day. People today trying to make an track position. No business. Green flag, green flag. Scholars, keep your eyes peeled. Perfect. 1 minute. Stay focused here, man. Keep digging. Check out, check out. Damn it. Oh, boy. Huge gap here. Right? Listen. Hell yeah, boys. Great. Great car. Let's just go, guys. First up, first win. Hell yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, baby.
16 drivers fighting for a championship. One of them has already locked his position into the second round of the playoffs. Joey Logano with his win a week ago, but everyone else fighting for a position point and the possibility of a win tomorrow.
Yeah, the field's really mixed up. Some guys that you would have thought were going to qualify great did not, and some others you didn't think would did find their way toward the front.
Marty.
So on top of Connor Zilich's pit box, it's been interesting to watch the second half of this race because right on the other side of Andrew Overstreet, yes, that is Noah Gregson who's been on top of the pit box. So Noah and Connor, very good friends. So he's up there cheering on his good buddies. So it's interesting because he's kind of been all up with Andrew Overstreet this entire race, almost, if you will, coaching behind that Bed Bath & Beyond hat, his buddy, to a hopeful win in his first ever Xfinity Series start.
So there's no question Connor Zilich has the speed and the ability to win this race. The big challenge for him, in my eyes, the lack of experience with these tires when they're hot. What do they do? How much can you drive into turn 1? That's something he really hadn't experienced. He ran a truck race at Coda and a truck race in Richmond. That's the amount of experience he has with this type of car. So how do you know how far to drive it in the corner? How do you know all of these things? The only thing to do is just trust your instincts. But it would be easy to understand how he wouldn't know and could drive in there too deep and miss the corner.
Well, don't forget, at Coda, he sat on the pole in that truck race and he didn't make turn 1, missed turn 1. So, he has, to your point, not a lot of experience, but the little bit he has is that exact thing, right? How much do you attack? The question I have is, where do you line up? I mean, I think the outside is the right way for a clean restart to roll turn 1 and get away. But we've seen the highlight a couple times now that Ty Gibbs thought he was going to be okay until he wasn't. So, Jeff, do you dare take the top and allow Ty Gibbs the right side of your race car, or you take the bottom and you become kind of the pusher?
There was a day you would never give someone the bottom. You'd never give them a chance to get underneath you, get into turn 1. The problem with that is, if the guy on the outside of you launches with you and he leaves on the outside, he's going to have more momentum heading into the S's. So I think you have to take the top and you have to trust him.
Mike Bagley, how aggressive is it going to be through the S's?
Oh, this is about to be good, boys, because it's all on the line right now. You got to be aggressive going into 1, and you also have to be aggressive going into the bus stop, Dylan. This is where all bets are off.
You're absolutely right. And if you're going to be able to move somebody, you're going to try to move somebody out of the way, it very, very well may be behind me here in the bus stop. There's plenty of opportunities to just get alongside somebody, muscle somebody out of the preferred line, and then you get to the carousel. That's another chance, too, before you get to 6, which is maybe the last passing zone on the racetrack. So exciting area between me and Mike's spots over here. Going to be a lot of fun for the final 3 laps.
And if you're just tuning in, 79 laps in, and the top 3, well, that's the way they started. Connor Zilich, Ty Gibbs, and A.J. Allmendinger started 1, 2, 3. They're running 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, back in the field a little bit. A good opportunity for several drivers. Jeremy Clements in the 51, Jeff Burton in the 27, Josh Williams in 12. Good opportunity for those guys to have a good finish.
Good decision, Todd.
This is the choice. Wow. The choose, he takes the inside line.
All right, so now if I'm Ty Gibbs, my entire job is to launch. If I launch with Connor Zilich and I enter turn 1 side by side and can leave turn 1, I am in the position I wanted to be in because I'll have more momentum heading to the S's. It's right on board the 88.
3-point checkers. Get after it, get away from them. I know you're the best driver here. Just go show it.
That's good to hear as an 18-year-old.
So another thing to talk about, new this time at the Glen, is that runoff. Driver left in turn 1. It's now been ground. All this grinding area right here, you see it. It's rough. It's not like it used to be. And I only say that because that's where everybody would have been in years past. The question is, we've seen cars out there, but they don't look as comfortable. Do you dare go there? Can you get the power down? Now that you're on old tires, is that what Connor Zillich is thinking? Right? Is he thinking, I'm going to take what's
All right, here we go. Setting up for a restart again. Not overtime, but we will have 2 laps to go. Zillich versus Gibbs on the front row. There's a little bit of nose damage on the 19 of Gibbs's race car in that outside line. Probably from a restart back in the pack after he had the penalty earlier. But it doesn't appear to have been hurting him to this point. Who will get the launch in the restart? The 88 does have to go first. They are the control car. And again, Zillich on the inside. Waits to the middle end of the restart zone and then goes. And here comes Allmendinger behind him after giving him a big push. Zillich spun the tires initially 3 wide into the first turn. Couple cars spinning further back. William Byron's around and another car as well. We do continue to stay green. Front of the field, battle for second is won by Allmendinger. He gets by Mayer, and Gibbs fell from second to fourth on the restart initially. Heavy damage on the 5 of Anthony Alfredo in the middle of the S's, and that will bring out a caution. And now we're headed to overtime. Fuel was already an issue, and maybe even more so. Heavy damage on the 21 of Austin Hill. There was a big crash right around the S's that we missed. Because there's a ton of damage on the 21 of Hill's race car.
Added to the back of Mayer, I believe it was, and it just stacked everybody up. I'm sorry, you got to back up Ty Gibbs. So watch Allmendinger with great forward momentum, knows it, turns to the inside, drives underneath, but look what happens. The 9 into the 18, that stacks everybody up and chaos behind him. Sammy Smith, big damage right there. Got hit in the right front tire.
Yeah, that's what the 21 hit, was the 8.
Watch this chaos from the front.
Somebody gets off track, driver's left. That's 26. He's thankfully got off track. He actually saved the car, maybe.
He got pushed out of the way. There was another car that pushed him off into the grass.
So now that A car, you see it right there. It looks like he may have gotten hit in the door, not in the wheel. He would hope so because it shouldn't do as much damage.
William Byron in 17 also involved in it. Here's oh no, look.
Oh!
Yeah, Anthony couldn't even see where he was going.
Yeah, I think the car was damaged. Look at the right front tire. I don't think, not only could he not see, I don't think he could control the car.
And so the issues continue. Now, crew chief, I've got to bring you in, Steve, because we knew they were going to be close on fuel. Now you're going overtime. Well, they're going to stop them. So they're stopping them on the front stretch to clean the track and get all of the cars off.
Red flag.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why they stopped him, to be honest. Unless there's fluid. I mean, we did see the 5 and the 21 both have accidents. You know, they stop them when you can't clear the track safely. So down in turn 1, when there's Austin Hill right there, but I mean, I say that because NASCAR shouldn't care if they're low on fuel. That's not really their problem. So the question is, the cleanup must be bigger than we think it is. And now that you see Alfredo, who's come all the way around kind of with the nose knocked off, it's very easy that he's put fluid around the racetrack. Remember that crazy finish a year ago? We talk about what happened in turn 1, but it was much like this. There was speedy dry everywhere. And it was Sheldon Creed who missed turn 6 and 7, and that's how Sam Mayer got by. So if there is fluid all around this track, we're going to take a very slippery track and only make it worse with speedy dry.
Yeah, all that chaos. You know, I think the guy that came out of there in pretty good shape, see that red car right there in 4th place? He restarted in 7th. He has better tires than the field. He pitted on lap 55, others on lap 48. So he has a little fresher tire. That restart could put him in position to win this race.
I do want to give you an update while we have this break. The driver of the 35, Thomas Annunziata, he was checked and released from the infield care center. Joey Gase climbed back.
There we go. We finally got word.
With that car, but just want to give you an update on that.
That was late.
That's Joey Gase behind the wheel of the 35. But now a red flag condition. It is overtime for the Xfinity Series. The reason for
It was only like 35 laps ago, but thanks for the update. I was like, for like half the race, I'm like, well, who's in the 35 car? They said Annunziata, climbed out because of dehydration, but then he was only 4 laps down on our leaderboard. Now he's 6 down, but yeah, so Joey Gase had hopped in the car in replacement for him. Under red for the first time here today. 5th caution. This one pushes us into an overtime finish after a crash following a restart initially with 2 laps to go in regulation. And now we have cleanup around the racetrack. And this will lengthen out the finish of the stream just a little bit. Caleb Geo, thanks for tuning in. At work currently. Here the car's running. You must live locally. Oh, live in Watkins. Well, there you go. Yeah, I missed that part of the sentence. Probably should read the whole thing. Steve Reed, Norman Blanton, thanks for tuning in also. Who else do we have in here? That's all I see for newcomers that I might not have shouted out from earlier on. I appreciate everybody tuning into this. Live commentary every NASCAR race weekend for Truck, Xfinity, and Cup races. As well as Cup practice and qualifying like we had earlier. Streams during the week. Daily NASCAR channel.
How much do you like your driver in this scenario of an overtime finish?
Oh, I think that's a no-brainer there. We take AJ Allmendinger over anybody in the field all day. You know, we joke with him and tell him on bad days we'd still take 50% of AJ over anybody in the field. So, you know, he's fought really hard. Everybody, pit road spotters, everybody's done a great job all day long to come from the rear like he had to there with that flat tire. So, it's shaking out to be a pretty eventful race for us, but you know, he's overcome a lot, so we're real happy with the way the race has gone so far.
So if the 88 decides to take the inside once again, how comfortable are you restarting on the outside there?
Man, that's $1 million question. You know, you got to ask yourself who you're racing, and if you watch back races from here, being on the left side, getting into one usually isn't the place you want to be. You know, you feel like it's an advantage if they'll race you straight up. It's just so hard to tell getting into one what's going to happen. So right now, that's $1 million question, and we're just going to kind of leave it up to the guy in the seat.
It's incredible to think this race team had 0 playoff points last week going into the Atlanta race. They finally got the stage win and now a possible race win in front of AJ Allmendinger. What would he be willing to do to make that happen?
Well, Marty, let's ask you.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
To chat with the driver of the 16. Let's dial him up.
Why contemplate when you can just ask the guy?
Have a good with you with us.
I got you guys.
What's the game plan here?
Oh, hope and pray.
Hope's not a strategy, AJ. Give us the story.
Yeah, I don't know. Inside. Obviously, the 88 will take the inside there. I'm just trying to decide what's better, not row or restart third. It's these late race restarts we just saw there is chaotic. So just trying to figure out what the best plan is.
Well, you did a great job launching that last time out of the restart zone. You had great forward momentum. You think you could get on the outside of him and use that to your advantage to be able to just drag race him off of turn 1?
Yeah, it's not so much the 88 I'm worried about going in the corners. The rest of them behind us. When you're on the outside, you're pretty vulnerable there, especially in desperation. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll figure it out. We'll make the decision when it's time and go from there.
All right, we know you know what you're doing. Make it happen.
Engines are starting to fire back up, so I think the red flag's about to be lifted at this point. Cleanup is almost concluded as far as putting Speedy Dry down in the S's of the racetrack, it appears. So we should get back to racing hopefully sooner rather than later. Currently sitting at 25 cars on the lead lap. That's not including the cars that were involved in this incident. I guess we'll have 27. I think Ed Jones and Josh Williams will be able to continue on. Austin Hill, Anthony Alfredo, I'd imagine, are done for the day. They were just involved in that crash. Free pass goes to Justin Allgaier, who was in a spin earlier in turn 6, was stuck in the gravel pit. That was all the way back at stage 2. He went 2 laps down. He'll finally be back on the lead lap, so he'll end up gaining those 2 positions as well. So he'll restart 28th, tail end of the lead lap for this next restart. Again, the question is, do we have enough fuel for the 1, the 19, and all these other drivers at the very front of the field? Do they have enough gas?
I do. And I'm okay if the one says, well, if we don't think we can make it, let me just go back there and pass as many. I don't want to run out in front of the field. That's an acceptable answer to me as well. But I like that he kind of put it in Sam Mayer's hand. And let's not forget that's the same for Zilich, Allmendinger, Mayer, Gibbs. They are all short on fuel. Chandler Smith, who has gotten up to 5th, we believe. We'll have to see how timing cycles after the red flag, but he's the first guy on fuel. How about Sheldon Creed in 6th? He was on pit road lap 75, didn't take tires, Jeff. But he has fuel enough. Remember, that was the call. We talked to Rick in the turn 1, but Sheldon Creed was the one who lost the lead here a year ago.
Red
Speedy Dry everywhere. Well, maybe the Speedy Dry.
No, red is still out. I thought I heard engines firing up again. It might have just been the safety trucks, honestly. I don't know what I was hearing. I swear I heard engines in the background of the broadcast booth talking there for a minute. Yeah, still under red. Be sure to hit the like button again on the stream if you haven't yet. We have gotten to our goal of 100 likes, but still be sure to do so. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content also. On the road to 6,000 subs on the channel. And live commentary for tomorrow's Cup Series race will begin at 2:30 p.m. Eastern with our pre-race coverage. And you'll get to hear interviews from some of the top finishers from this Xfinity Series race on the channel today as well. I believe the airtime coverage runs until 6 p.m. So should get a few post-race interviews following the finish of this one. Assuming we don't have that many more cautions left after this. Hopefully this is the only overtime restart. Take a look at some race stats up to this point. 38 laps led for Connor Zilich. He's led 2 different times, from the pole. Most laps led in the race so far. Ty Gibbs has led for 3 laps, 5 for AJ Allmendinger. Shane Van Gisbergen led for 14. William Byron for 16 and 6 for Cole Custer. Zilich won stage 1. Byron won stage 2. And Zilich is the leader in this race at the time. Our timing and scoring a little wacky under red flag right now, but Zilich is the leader.
Because of all of the fluid on the racetrack there, just through turn 1 area.
Safety queen is a lot of Speedy Dry going on the racetrack. When you got to refill the hopper.
Yeah, not a good sign.
No, that's not. Look at all of it. Steve mentioned it.
Well, now, unless you're the guy that sells the Speedy Dry.
Then it's a good thing.
Yeah. Stock's going up.
Entrepreneur, aren't you?
So again, reminder, Zilich's first start in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, you can see the Speedy Dry, and although they'll clean it up and try to get as much of it off of this racetrack as possible, this is in the fastest part of the racetrack, climbing the hill, up these S's. And you have to wonder, as much as they try to get it clean, will it be completely clean, and who will that one affect?
They'll roll through this before they'll have to make the decision as far as choosing which lane. Once we lift the red flag and go back to yellow.
I always hated this as a driver.
I think they still have to open pit road yet too, don't they?
He's been sitting there for quite a while. This red flag's been going on, and for almost 10 minutes. And these race cars,
They're
the
hot.
transmissions, the rear gears, the brakes, the engine, the radiator, all of that heat gets soaked into this chassis. And when it's sitting there, there's no air going anywhere, and it is smoking hot inside this thing. And then you can't really use your head cooler because it burns the battery down. There's no alternator running to recharge the battery. You can't use your cool suit. It is just heat soaking the driver at this point. It is miserable.
Well, let's just go back to last year and remember what happened with the late restart.
Yeah, this looks familiar. Crazy restarts even a year ago. It was Ty Gibbs who got sent around off the bumper of the one. But then you mentioned the speedy drive there. Sheldon Creed just completely misses the last corner in the speedy drive, chasing the back of the race car, and Sam Mayer was able to drive the perfect lap and get by. We're going to have the same chaos, right? We're going to have the chaos and restart, and then kind of the dirt around the racetrack. You're going to have to find a clean line.
All right, Marty, what about Marty Lindley? Is he feeling comfortable with Sam Mayer in the third position on this restart?
Well, considering they got that penalty for blowing the bus stop earlier, I would say it's pretty good to be here in the third spot. But I love that conversation with your driver where you said, hey, you want to pit? We're close on fuel. He said, I'd rather go for the win. How did you take that conversation from him?
Yeah, just, at this point, we're just going for wins. And everyone at Junior Motorsports on this 10X Chevrolet's done a great job today. And, with the penalty, forced our hands to start saving gas early in the third stage. And we kind of did this last year. So it's playing out, but I think one more caution is going to sink us.
There's a lot of conversation about where everybody's going to choose once the red flag is lifted, and the 16 might even decide to go behind the 88. Would you welcome that? Would you welcome a front row start?
Well, I would. I mean, it gives you a better chance for sure, but, also it comes if the 16 decides to clean the 88 out, we could be a victim of that. Hopefully it doesn't go that well. Hopefully they get it restarted and everybody makes it around and they can race for it.
Considering how the last month has been for your race team, you and I talked about it, I think last week. How badly do you guys need just a good finish today?
No, it would be huge for us. We've been in a slump since the win at Iowa. We've had really good speed though with our cars, just can't get to the end, and hopefully we get this 10X Chevrolet to the end of the race.
All right, Sam Mayer sitting in third right now under the red flag, but that's the whole debate topic, Steve, right now is where drivers would indeed choose. In fact, they told Sam Mayer on the radio a moment ago, word on the street is that Allmendinger might choose behind the 88.
Dude filming him.
You might give up that front row choice if you get it.
It's interesting because I thought Allmendinger, who started road 2 on the last restart, had a good run to the inside, 3 wide. Oh,
Somebody's riding a T-Rex in the infield.
Dinosaur rides. I'm trying to figure out what song that gentleman was dancing to in the stands.
I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking at, right?
It's a guy riding a dinosaur.
I'm looking at a Busch Light fan.
That's dinosaur rides. It's Ross Chastain. Oh, look at this. We're going back into. I'm not sure if that's a groove or not.
That was you last night, Rick, in the bar.
That's not. But it's funny. Look at how much of a buddy he is. He goes, I'm gonna film him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna film this guy.
that's not a buddy.
No, that's right.
Well, that's definitely not a buddy. These fans know how to have a good time. The one fan jumped over the fence to try to get Kenz's autograph.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Everybody's filming everybody, though.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I saw an elbow.
whoa! We got a fight,
A lot of love going around.
and there's a fight.
We better get the camera back on race car.
Camping, the fans, just having a good time.
The tucked-in shirt with the athletic shorts is it's a bold strategy, Cotton. It's a bold strategy.
Ends of races at the Glen, always interesting. And William Byron has experienced it a year ago in the Cup Series.
All right, let's take a look. Watkins Glen 2023.
Coach Ford, take that lap.
This was a great race for us. We had a really fast car, and on that day, clean air is really big.
Clean air.
We were able to have a really good green flag sequence there. We went one extra lap, which typically isn't the move, but a track with no fall off. We were able to get a clean track. Have really good lap time and kind of check out from there.
2.75. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. 4 more right here. Wait. Hell yeah, boys. guy. Thank you. Well,
Watkins Glen is just a badass place to win because you have so many fans in the stands and they're on both sides of the track. So it's just a super cool place.
oh yeah. Good job, guys.
This was my favorite win of last year. Honestly, it was really cool.
Oh, good job, guys. Well,
As much as we had a great race there last year, I think it's going to take something a little different this year.
And Hibbert Motorsports has really flexed their muscles when they come to Watkins Glen tomorrow. Can another Hendrick Motorsports driver get to victory lane? Countdown to green at 2:30 kicks it off on USA, and then it's race 2 in the round of 16 at 3 o'clock. 5:30 will be post race on USA. All right, let's chat with the driver of the 1, Sam Mayer, up there just on the outside of turn number 1.
Sam, this guy's up in the booth. You with us?
we actually switched to channel 2, please.
All right, let's do that.
We have 2.
All right, here we go. Sam, this guy's in the booth. You with us?
Hey, y'all, what's up?
I'm sitting here waiting for a green flag. What are you hoping happens right here on this restart?
I was wondering if y'all were going to call me, but yeah, it's going to be a wild restart here. Depending on what 16 to 6 the front row behind my teammate, the 88. It's going to be pretty interesting. But I think winners take the front row at the end of the day, so if it's open, I'm taking it. I'm going to get this win at the end of the day if we have enough gas.
So with a little concern of gas, how do you approach it? Do you just not worry about it? Just go as hard as you can and hope you don't run out?
Hey man, that job was done about 15 laps ago, so if I did my job right and did everything that I was told to do, even though we have the car as fast as Xfinity internet, I had to kind of slow it down a little bit there. So if I did my job then, I just got to go do my job now and not think about it.
All right, well, it's going to be exciting for us to watch. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, y'all have fun up there. It's going to be fun down here.
It is going to be fun.
So that is, the way you said that was perfect, right? The reason you save fuel is because of this. And, he's saying, hey, 15 laps ago, we were working in case we got in this situation. And if I did my job and we got it right, then he feels like he's going to be okay. And that's one thing, Steve, you don't really know in the Xfinity cars. It's crew chief. It's a bit of a guess, right? If you don't have one directly to the team in regard to how much fuel burn there is when you are saving fuel. So driver can think he saved fuel and didn't, or he can think he saved and he has even more than he realized. You really don't know.
Well, the last race of the regular season takes place on Friday, and it will be on CW. That's where the Xfinity Series will live from 2025 on. They're getting a jump on it. The final 8 races will be airing on CW. So make sure to find your local CW station, the cw.com/NASCAR. Again, Bristol night race. Dale Jr. will be a part of that. Chandler Smith right now scored in the 5th position, and he also has requested that we give him a call on the radio. So now we got drivers trying to talk with us. Steve, why don't you dial him up?
Let's check it out. Hold on. Hey, Chandler, it's the guys in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's been quite the day, up and down. Last on pit road, lap 55 for a couple tires, and most importantly, some of that Sunoco fuel. How you feeling about this final shot at it?
I'm stressed out. You watched last year's ending of the race, and I'm right in the catbird seat, so it could go either way. Just super proud of everybody at Joe Gibbs Racing and the piece that they brought me this weekend. We have a really fast number 81 general contracting Toyota GR Supra. And it's been as fast as Xfinity internet all day. Honestly, I've been the weak link just trying to figure everything out. I'm still new to road course racing and trying to adapt and get better and learn by every lap. And so, like, you could probably see that in my performance today. So proud of everybody on pit road, proud of Jeff Mendring for the strategy call, and see if it's the good Lord's timing today or not.
Well, you're doing a heck of a job behind the wheel from up here. We talk a lot about where you choose when you're in the front row or maybe the second row, but as you get further back, sitting in the 5th position, is it just as many rows forward as you can go, or do you have a preferred line inside or out?
I got a preferred line that I wouldn't like to go on the record and talk about, honestly, just because of the natural people wreck where they go, but at the same time, it's also all generated typically from one line. So you just got to be calculated and try to get out of turn one. And I think if you get out of turn one, anybody has a shot at it. I mean, look at it last year. So.
All right, man. Well, good luck. Appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thank you guys. Enjoy it.
Oh, we will. And they are going from red to yellow as far as the flag color so that we can get racing back underway. And looks like guys are making their way back up to the scaffolding so that they can get a good view of the finish of this one.
Poor dog, man. He wants to get a seat. Get up there.
Let's think back on AJ Allmendinger and the Cup Series. If we flash back to 2014, such a big moment for JTG Doherty Racing and Brad Doherty. Big Brad made his way into victory lane.
The biggest ratio between the driver and the other size of NASCAR history.
Well, Tyler Reddick and Michael Jordan's pretty close.
Jay's been part of so many cool wins, and you think about him on road courses. I don't think that he has the pace by any means to run with Connor Zillage, but what he does have is the experience. And think about how many years he has of driving Cup cars, Xfinity cars. There's very few people that have won as many races as he has on these road courses. Having a little trouble getting started, they'll push him off. It'll be okay. You won't lose your spot as long as it'll fire back up. But there it goes. Think he had just a little panic.
I was going to say, a little bit worried about maybe saving enough fuel.
He was definitely looking around, wanting to know what's going on here.
So they're going to roll around. We mentioned that the free pass went to the 7 of Allgaier, so he's back on the lead lap, Marty.
An interesting point for this race team. It could be a pretty big swing here for Justin Allgaier, currently plus 31 over Cole Custer in the regular season championship battle. On the caution before this, Jim Pullman made the call to come down and put new tires here, sort of new tires on the 7 car. It was the tires that only had 3/4 of a lap, but the ones they were stuck in the sand with earlier on. But he has fresher tires than all those cars around him. He's going to get back on the lead lap here. A ton of cars are getting ready to fall out because they are not going to be able to continue after that last wreck. So this picture could dramatically change in Justin Allgaier's favor here if he's able to gain another number of spots here on this final overtime restart. Maybe final overtime restart, Rick.
I liked your confidence the first time you said it. So again, Allgaier getting the free pass. That's why you see him passing the pace car, making his way around the track.
I think they're getting the choose roll this time.
Clean up all the way around the track. You know, this is about the only part that doesn't have it. It actually is even there.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of oil spread all over this racetrack, and they do their best to clean it up, but there's still some residue, dust, dirt.
Could it be what was it? It was Kyle Busch. It was Brad Keselowski. It was
Marcus Ambrose.
We've seen them all.
Yeah.
You mean
Rick was having a brain fart there.
And Brad and Ambrose.
Yeah, Marcus Ambrose.
Yeah.
Raced probably one of the more fun races to watch.
Brad in the S is aggressive.
Yeah.
There was contact. I'll give Brad the credit for it.
So we still got a water bottle out here. You don't want to scoop that up. They'll pick it up, but they're still trying to clean up some of the speedy dry.
Yeah, I didn't expect that they were going to be going green the first lap after that red flag anyway. I feel like they do have to open pit road yet because they were not able to do so before that. So give the drivers and teams an opportunity to pit for those at the front of the field running on fumes if they so choose. I don't imagine we'll see many come down though. Total time on the red flag was 22 minutes and 27 seconds. Definitely a lengthy one prior to this overtime restart. Should be getting the one to go signal though this time by, hopefully. And again, this is our first attempt at an overtime finish. They showed the wrong race, by the way, on there. They showed the wrong Busch Keselowski finish compared to the one that they were talking about before that. There's still quite a bit of safety equipment on the racetrack on the front stretch headed down the hill towards turn 1. We'll see if they get the one to go. Flagman's waving the yellow flag right now, but they can get the signal for one to go a little later on the road courses before they get to the choose rule. There are some cars at the tail end of the lead lap that are on pit road. Again, pit road is open.
Allmendinger thinking that's his path.
Sammy Smith's coming down. A
If
couple
it
others.
is, then he's going to have to get a great restart and drive underneath of Zillage, but he wasn't able to make it happen the last restart, and he got a great restart. So I think he's going to have to start on the outside, Marty.
So we praised Sammy Smith earlier. After that, they had a left front tire that went down, and now they're back here on pit road as this overtime restart is about to happen. On the right front for Sammy Smith. It's been a heck of a day for this race team, but you got to give the young man credit for staying in there, not losing his focus all day long, and still with a healthy lead heading into Bristol next week. Final race of the regular season for that final playoff spot.
I'm not sure anything is healthy enough going into Bristol unless you're locked in.
I was going to say, if you're 12th, it can't be that healthy because someone could win. You just never know. Win their way in.
Yeah, they're showing Ryan Segan 17th. So how many spots could he gain? He pitted on lap 78. A lot of guys in front of him were around 54. So if he has a little better tire, maybe he could. And of course, we've seen already one restart, how wild it gets.
So the field making their way down the backstretch. We believe that they will be doing the choose now. They were working on the front stretch to clean up an area. And we think that that is now clean. And so they will let them know this time as they go through the bus stop and come back out. This will be the choose. So now the 88 and 16. What does Allmendinger do? He's the first to choose. As far as
SVG's back up to 8th.
He is going to stay behind the 88.
The mayor said he was going to take the front row, and that's just what he did.
So I think, yeah, the top 4 are definitely the lowest on fuel. A lot of those other drivers were able to top off under green flag conditions, like Sheldon Creed, Shane Van Gisbergen, Brandon Jones, I believe, as well. So we'll see how this goes. Actually, I think Jones might be on the same pit strategy as the top 4. But he lost a couple spots on that last restart. So I think the top 4 and then Jones in 7th are the drivers that are very, very tight on fuel. So we'll see if they can make it. Hopefully this is the only overtime restart we have. And, yeah, fuel mileage race here to the finish for those top few positions. Fresher tires for the 97 of Van Gisbergen. Chandler Smith's got slightly fresher tires as well, though SVG's tires even more fresh than that of the 81. Pretty much everybody else behind the 97 as well from 8th on back. Most of those cars have fresher tires than the leaders. So a 2-lap shootout on a 2.45-mile road course here at Watkins Glen. Who is going to get the last lap and have a shot at the race win? Pace car down on the pit road. Zillage spun his tires on the last restart. We'll see what he can do this time. Green flag back in the air. Better launch from Zillage than the restart before that, so he definitely learned something. Creed ran out of gas on the restart and pulled off into the grassy area of the racetrack. I don't even know that the leaders are going to be able to make it all the way back around. We might get another caution against Sheldon Creed. Had stalled out on the front stretch. He couldn't get going. Good thing he got out of the way in time. He didn't get ran over and the rest of the field was able to race by. But if Creed can't make it back to pit road, this is going to be another caution. Zillage got to the lead on the restart. Mayer trying to block. for second place as he was able to stay clear of the 16 of Allmendinger. Creed is stalled. I mean, he's not going to be able to get out of the way. He is creeping right now. Will they get to the white flag? Big wreck in the bus stop further back. Brandon Jones, the 87 involved. Caution flag is out. And we'll have a second overtime. And I think this might be the end of the line for the 88, the 1, and the 16. It was actually Ty Gibbs. Sorry, Ty Gibbs ran out of fuel on the restart, not Sheldon Creed. I apologize on that. It looked like the 18 car, but it was Gibbs who had ran out of gas and could not get to speed. I saw Creed right behind him, so Creed got in the back of Gibbs, and it was Gibbs that ended up off the track out of the way. And then further back, Brandon Jones goes for a slide in the bus stop. And as he came back across the racetrack, the 87 crunched his right rear corner panel. Heavy damage on his car. That's Mike Skeen in the 87. He was involved in the Allgaier spin earlier as well. So tough day for Mike. Race going from bad to worse from a strategy standpoint for the leaders. That is for certain. Yet another caution late at Watkins Glen past the scheduled distance.
Big team was like, man, we were so close.
You know what's interesting is normally a guy running second and you get the caution, they would have been excited. Hey, we got another shot. Take it at them, but they are just terrified they're going to run out of fuel here.
Well, SVG.
I mean, Gibbs already ran out.
You got by Chandler Smith there about that half a lap before the yellow came out. So now SVG really sitting. I think if I could pick a guy to be, that's who I'd want to be. I just can't see the 16, the 1, the 88 extending this fuel.
And remember his path. He sped on pit road late in this race. We thought he's going to go to the back. There's no way there's enough time.
Crazy.
With 2 overtimes.
Crazy.
He's in a pretty good spot.
Anything could happen.
So now the possibility is out there that SVG could go his first 4 wins are 4 straight wins at the road courses, which has never been done before.
And remember the conversation Sam Mayer was having with Marty Finley, the crew chief. Marty, before this restart, said, hey, we're going to run out of gas most likely. What do you want to do? And the decision was, let's go for it. Well, so now is it inevitable they're going to run out of gas? And if
You would think.
You know, being in complete denial about it isn't going to fix the problem. You're better off coming down here pit.
Yeah.
And our safety crew's been busy today. They're going to push the 19 all the way back to pit road. A reminder coming up next, the encore presentation of Super Motocross World Championship. That playoff race, number 2 from Texas.
I mentioned a little bit ago that we're going to get some post-race interviews. I think we're only going to get it from the race winner because they're going to go past the scheduled airtime here. We're only 10 minutes away from 6 p.m. Eastern. Connor Zilic, you got the race leader under caution. Pit row will be open this time by, I would imagine, he, Mayer, and Allmendinger will pit. I mean, Gibbs ran out of gas on the restart, pitting around the same lap the top 3 did. I would have to assume they're going to have to pit here, and they're not going to be able to make it. Which, if that is the case, that would put Shane Van Gisbergen in the lead. Plenty good on fuel to the finish. And a comeback from a speeding penalty as he gets bailed out with not 1, not 2, but 3 late race yellows in the final 5 laps. The original final 5 laps of the race, at least, from the scheduled distance. When you include the lap 76 caution when the 38 of DiBenedetto stalled on track at the bus stop. Leaders did not pit that time by. Then, of course, the lap 80 incident, which led to the red flag, and now the lap 83 incident as well right here. Honestly, I feel like the caution was mainly for the 19. I mean, yeah, there was damage on the 9 and the 87 in the inner loop, but the 19 stall it out where he did. They were going to have to throw the caution at some point anyway. Glad for green, white checker finishes. Don't like seeing them under caution. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of split among like NASCAR fans on whether they, like the overtime procedures or they don't. I've seen that a lot over the last few years, especially since it seems like we do get quite a few overtime restarts. Has nothing to do but to go for it. I mean, that's fair. It's like if he runs out of gas and does the same thing that Gibbs did, we're gonna get another caution right away. So I'd kind of appreciate it if they were from those cars up at the front of the field to pit. I understand going for it, just for my personal. I mean, I'm very biased when I say this, but I hope they just pit and we get this race over with on the next restart, not have another log jam. And waiting another 20 minutes to finish these final few laps of the race. Other shout outs to those of you tuning in that have been in the chat recently. We got the Polar Express 1225 Productions. Thanks for tuning in. Rick Craver, MC, Dot Boy, Car Enthusiast, Tony Pap. Thanks for tuning in. Jules, thanks for tuning in. Many, many, many others. David Conley, Menace. Definitely be sure to hit that like button on the stream if you haven't done so. Time Changer, thanks for tuning in. And I think that might be it. I'm Joe, thanks for tuning in. Still Joe, we got... I'm Joe, it's Still Joe. It's probably the same person. Maybe, maybe not. Chris Sharp, Splash and Go Racing, Nick Power. Live NASCAR commentary for tomorrow's Cup Series race begins at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on the channel. Still working on cleanup on the racetrack as of right now. Working the caution. Yeah, there's some fluid in the S's. It looks like they're going to have to... They're going to have to clean.
I say go ahead and throw the green.
Well, pit roads are open this time, so we're going to see exactly what leaders decide to do here out here riding around on fumes.
Top three again came to pit road at lap 48, so they are virtually out of gas. Then Van Gisbergen, who's fourth, he came to pit road at 67. He's got plenty. The 50, the 81 of Chandler Smith, he came on lap 55. Sheldon Creed came on lap 75. Everybody down, everybody else, with the exception of maybe Jeremy Clements, who's 15th. Everybody else should be able to make it.
Well, they stayed out.
Clements is pitting,
So
so...
I'll give it a try.
Okay.
That didn't sound like a confident okay.
Well,
Well, so many times when drivers are trying to stretch fuel, and we saw it with high gives, they run out under acceleration, right? The fuel pickup is not full of fuel. They go to accelerate, and they just simply run out. And that creates a lot of wrecks, a lot of problems back in the back. And the last one got pretty clean. The fact that you ran out of gas early in front of the pack, they got really lucky. I don't know what's going on here. We're losing control of this broadcast. But it is, you really have to pay attention, and there's nothing you can do. The guy right in front of you, it's nothing you can do. You clean up the running order real quick. I mentioned that SVG got in front of Chandler Smith, but going back to the loop lines, they have swapped that. So now fourth Chandler Smith, fifth SVG. I want to clear that up because I believe the winner could be coming from this rally, since they have a little bit more fuel on board.
Kim, what about the one of Sam Bayer?
Well, at the beginning of this caution, spotter Kevin Hamlin said bias more insurance, meaning safe. Then there was more discussion on whether they should stop. Here was the chatter on the radio of Sam Mayer.
I mean, we can't be exact on these fuel numbers because we don't know how much you saved. It's either 28 or out of gas. I mean, out at win, second, third, or 28. Cool.
So you heard the cool from Sam Mayer electing to stay out. They're going to push it and see if they have enough fuel for this double overtime restart.
See him coasting, and then
Well, they still didn't go one to go here, so they still going to have to run another lap under caution.
Yeah, then try to get 2 laps.
Maybe they're going to give them the entrance of pit road one more time in case they want to change their mind.
Yeah.
No, AJ, I know they think we're choosing, but we're not.
Well, it seems like Sam Mayer continues to, obviously, he's trying to save as much fuel as possible. He shuts it off, drifts back until he gets to Allmendinger. And then when Allmendinger's next to him, he fires it back up and rolls up next to Zilich.
We have to clean up Bagley's coffee spill.
Baggy over there in turn 4.
Gee, I need another cup. Get that Keurig fired up.
This has been quite, I mean, the first 85% of this race was pretty clean.
We'll rename this race the Fluid 200.
So we saw the jet dryers over there, but there wasn't any speedy dry put down.
So let's take this pressure packed finish right here and let's look ahead till tomorrow. With playoffs on the line, points so important. Second race of the first round. I got it out there eventually. Second race of the first round after the chaos in Atlanta. How do you call the race? Do you call the race like it's going to run 90 laps? Do you call the race for 2 or 3 overtimes? You know what I mean? The pressure on these guys to pit, Zilich, Mayer, Allmendinger, you know what's, will we make it? Will we win? Will we not? Well, think about this group. If you're Suarez or Larson or maybe Denny Hamlin, who got in that wreck late at Atlanta, you're going to be riding around late tomorrow. Chris Gabehart is going to be stressing whether they need to come get fuel or not. Because one thing that makes road course racing so difficult is the number of cars on the lead lap. I mean, currently, you know, we're still looking at what, 24, 25 cars on the lead lap. So you can be the leader, run out in overtime and give up 25 points in the last half mile. And the stress level is going to be through the roof tomorrow.
And honestly, if it wasn't for crashes, we would have way more cars in the lead lap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of these guys are out just simply because they got in one of these last wrecks. So it's not uncommon to see 30, 32, 34 cars. It could happen.
And a big swing at points. You see our estimation.
They're out. They've been out.
Yeah.
You know, this is that person. Might be me. You know, when the gas light comes on your car, you're just like, nah, I'm going to go by this next exit. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to see how far I can go.
Well, when it says range and then it gets down to, you know, like 12 and then down to 8 miles, and then it just says low. That's when you know, I probably need to find.
That's when I Google what low is in that make of car.
Yeah.
5 miles?
Well, they are going to choose this time. Has the 88 saved enough fuel? Can Connor Zilich get his first career Xfinity win in his first career start?
So we talked about playoffs. Let's start looking further back, right? We have Zilich, Mayer, Allmendinger, Chandler Smith, who's currently in with a win. SVG has won. Sheldon Creed is in the playoffs by points, but has yet to win. Then you got Kligerman. I mean, there's a stack of guys that would love to go to victory lane. I know most of those guys are in the playoffs that I listed, but those bonus points for winning the race would be a big difference.
You know, one thing too, Ryan Sieg, he's sitting there in 12th, you know, chasing Sammy Smith. You know, he's 28 points back right now. Can Sammy Smith get more points? Or can Sieg get more points? You know, you mentioned that wreck. Sammy Smith's toward the back, so most likely he would be in a wreck, but you know, if he were, and Sammy Smith, you know, I mean, sorry, Sieg picked up 5 or 6 spots, then it just gets that much more close going to Bristol. So this is what we assumed would happen. Is Sam Mayer, he said winners come from the front row. So we were pretty sure he would pick the outside.
All right, so here we go. We got Zilich inside of row 1, outside row 1. Sam Mayer inside row 2. AJ Allmendinger outside his teammate Shane Van Gisbergen. SVG best on fuel. Those top 3 of Zilich, Mayer, and Allmendinger all on fumes. Will they make it? I'd be shocked at this point if those 3 can make it. But we'll see. Gibbs on the same pit strategy. Pitted at the same time as those 3 cars ran out on the last restart. Could be a stumble as they get through the gears. We'll have to wait and see. 2 laps to try to settle it. Second overtime restart. and the Mission 200 at the Glen. Pace car on pit road. Zilich is the starter. Green flag back in the air. Nose to nose. Good restart for Mayer on the outside. Allmendinger looks low. SVG on the fresh tires right behind both of them. Little contact between SVG and Allmendinger into the turn. Custer goes spinning well behind SVG. 3 wide middle now into the S's. Banging fenders with the 16 and the 1. Still 3 wide. Zilich pulling away. What a move if he can pull this off. Still sliding through the curb, through the speedy dry. Can't believe they made it 3 wide through the S's. Mayer stumbling on gas. He's out. He lost several positions there headed into the bus stop. Now they got to get around him cleanly. SVG finally gets by the 16 of Allmendinger, but Allmendinger crosses him over. One car slides way wide into the bus stop. That's Justin Allgaier. Now a whole line of cars just log jamming it into one another. Zilich is getting way out ahead of the pack. His battle's for second, but it could be for the win if Zilich runs out of fuel. SVG was banging fenders with the 16, and now the 81 sails it off into turn 6. He uses SVG up. Both cars go wide. It's a madhouse. It's a scrum as they come to the white flag. 3 wide. Mayer goes for a spin. SVG's in the middle, 3 wide. And I believe it's Sheldon Creed in the 18 from wherever he was, just got all the way up into second place off turn 7. This is the craziest battle for second place I've ever seen in my life. And I've got to say the 97 and the 16 have been side by side for most of it. A little contact into the S's again. And I think they're slipping through the speedy dry at this point. While the 88 is just pulling ahead. Herbst gets tagged. He goes around. We got a big wreck. Big wreck. Big hits. Headed down towards the bus stop. Caution flag is out. And Zilich is going to win under yellow, I do believe. As long as he has enough fuel to coast at these final couple corners. There's some gnarly hits back there in between the S's and the bus stop. Zilich might be out of gas. I don't know. Creed's going to put the pressure on him. Creed's going to be right there just in case Zilich stumbles. But if Zilich has enough gas to maintain power under caution to get to the checker, then Zilich will be the race winner. Can't believe he had enough fuel to make it to the end. And got well out ahead of the pack after it was just an absolute crapshoot for second. Connor Zilich, in his first career race in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, has won in dominating fashion from the pole. He leads the most laps. 46 laps led. Out of the scheduled 82, we ended up finishing with 90 laps. That's the length of the Cup race tomorrow. That's how long this race went because of overtimes. 2 overtimes to be exact. Margin of victory under yellow. Sheldon Creed, for the 5th time this season, finishes second. It was hard to commentate what was going on for second place those last lap and a half or so. Hopefully everybody's all right from that big crash that took place in between the S's and the bus stop. Had longer on-throttle straightaway portion of the racetrack. A lot of torn up equipment, a lot of heavy damage on some equipment. I'll let these guys break it down.
0 going around. Gotta tell you, I can't believe there wasn't a caution before. The battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, it was wild.
Here was the 7 of Allgaier spinning in the bus stop.
Hey, look at this.
Out of 6. So coming to the white flag here.
Creed was in 4th and then made a 3-wide pass for 2nd in turn 7. Herbst got tagged by somebody.
And this was the reason for the caution.
Oh.
On that backstretch, so much speed.
And Sieg with a big hit right there. That was a big impact. Oh, there it is.
Somebody involved back there, but the checkered flag comes out for Connor Zilich, and he is now celebrating win number 1 in the Xfinity Series. We'll see him a few more times behind the wheel in the remainder of 2024, and then full time in 2025, driving for Junior Motorsports. Take a look at some of the other drivers that have done it, that have won in their debut. Connor Zilich adding his name to that list.
And Connor Zilich is going to salute to the fans with a checkered flag. Wins in his debut in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Man, oh man. Welcome to the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Connor. How did you do it? How did you save enough fuel for those double overtime restarts?
Man, I don't even have words. I worked so hard for this one. I've been working for this one for months, and it's so special to me, man. I don't even have words. I don't know how I saved enough. I sputtered up the hill with 2 to go. I didn't think I was going to make it back to the line. I was saving the last 2 laps. Oh, but man, I'm going to enjoy this one for a while. That's special. And I can't say enough about Junior Motorsports. Everyone who supports me, Team Trackhouse, Silver Hair Racing, Carolina Carports for coming on board on my debut. All the fans for showing out today. Thank you guys so much. And 1-1, not bad.
Your primary mentor is Josh Wise, and of your evolution, he said, I hope Connor makes mistakes. That's how you learn as a race car driver. That's how you evolve. There were some mistakes made today despite the win. How much was this a learning experience for next year?
Oh, I mean, coming in today, I just wanted to run all the laps, and I ran all the laps, and I came home with a win too. So, I can't complain about that. Josh Wise, he's done so much for me to not only the race car driver I am today, but the person I am today. I can't say enough about everyone at Chevrolet who supported me over the years. My second race as a Red Bull athlete, I'm 2 for 2 with that helmet on, so I guess it's good luck. And I just can't thank everyone who's helped me get to this point. It's special, come out here and win my first race, and hopefully the first of many.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Connor Zilich over with emotion in his first NASCAR Xfinity Series win, Marty.
Kim, while there wasn't much of a battle for the win, it was a crazy battle for second. Sheldon Creed, how did you find your way through all that mess?
Just trying to keep the nose on it there. Actually, really fun. I felt like that was the battle for the win probably if the 88 ran out. So yeah, I thought I put myself in really good positions to end up second again. I could be mad, but I'm actually happy for kind of how our day was going. We were a top 10 car, but I just didn't know, how good we were to run in the top 3 there. So, congrats to Connor. Obviously extremely talented. Cool to see him. We'll race him all year next year. So, yeah, another top 5 for our team. Thankful for everyone at Jacobs Racing, Toyota, Brenda Jacqueline, everyone that supported us this year at CW last week, MRC Construction at Sonoma. So, I don't know what that is. 12 top 5s on the year. Just good momentum for the playoffs, and I can't wait for Bristol next week. And I'm having a lot of fun right now, so that's what's important.
Rick, when it's 3 wide for second on the next to last lap of the race, and you wind up being on the winning end of that, you can't complain if you're Sheldon Creed.
Yeah, Sheldon Creed.
Got 2 more drivers clinching their way into the playoffs today, virtue of points, those being AJ Allmendinger and Sheldon Creed. So they are mathematically locked in despite not having a win on the year, and obviously with a win on the season. Riley Herbst, Cole Custer, Jesse Love have 1, 2 for Chandler Smith, Sam Mayer, and Justin Allgaier, then 3 for Austin Hill, Shane Van Gisbergen. They're all locked into the playoffs as well. So 2 more drivers can lock in on points next weekend in the regular season finale at Bristol. Parker Kligerman goes in plus 85 and plus 43 for Sammy Smith. Minus 43 points for Ryan Sieg is the only driver below the cutoff line who mathematically can point his way in. Brandon Jones, must-win situation. Anthony Alfredo, Brendan Poole, and everybody else further behind them in points also in a must-win situation. As far as today's race results, we'll go through that. Connor Zilich again with the race win. Margin of victory under yellow. 6 cautions in this one. 2 red flags. The first red flag incident, only 1 red flag. That last overtime there wasn't a red. But 22 minutes and 27 seconds total time on that red. And again, actually 7 cautions in the race, not 6 because of the caution on the final lap ending the race. So 7 cautions total in this one. For incident, we would have had 5 of them. And all of them in the final stage for incidents. 2 hours, 35 minutes, 26 seconds total time on this one. 86.87 mile per hour average race speed. We went 8 laps past the scheduled distance, finishing 90 out of an originally scheduled 82. Connor Zilic, in his first career NASCAR Xfinity Series start, leads the most laps, wins from the pole. Again, he ended up leading 46 laps in today's race. He also won stage 1 and still got the race win, which you don't see that a lot on road courses. He had that kind of speed in the race car here today, and he managed to fuel the entirety of that final stage and was still able to win on fumes. Sheldon Creed ends up finishing in the second place position yet again. I believe his 5th runner-up this season alone. AJ Allmendinger finishes 3rd, Parker Kligerman 4th, and Chandler Smith 5th. 6th for Shane Van Gisbergen, Ross Chastain 7th, Jesse Love 8th, Joey Logano 9th, Josh Bilicki ends up finishing in 10th. William Byron 11th, Parker Retzlaff 12th, Ryan Ellis 13th, 14th for Austin Green, Justin Allgaier 15th, Leland Honeyman in 16th, Riley Herbst 17th, Jeremy Clements 18th, Sammy Smith 19th, Sam Mayer 20th, Cole Custer 21st, Ryan Sieg 22nd, Brendan Poole 23rd, and Ed Jones last car in the lead lap at 24th. Gibbs, who ran out of gas, finished a lap down at 25th. Eric Almirola 2 laps down in 26th. R.C. Anderson 5 laps down in 27th. And then Brandon Jones on back DNF today. So Brandon Jones finishing 28th. Thomas Annunziata gets scored with the 29th place finish, but Joey Gase finished that race in the 35 car after Annunziata had a driver swap mid-race. Dehydration issue there, so hopefully he's okay. Mike Skeen ends up 30th. Jeb Burt 31st. Josh Williams 32nd. 33rd for Austin Hill. Anthony Alfredo 34th, Matt DiBenedetto 35th, Alan Day 36th, Kyle Sieg 37th, and Kyle Weatherman rounds out the field in 38th. 11 DNFs total then in this one. Drivers of the lead today, I mentioned 3 different times. Zilic from the pole leads the most laps, won stage 1, and gets the win. 16 laps led for William Byron. He actually won stage 2 in this one a long time ago from what it feels like from where we are right now. Shane Van Gisbergen led 14 laps all in the final stage. 5 laps led for AJ Allmendinger. 6 laps for Cole Custer. 3 laps led for Ty Gibbs. 1 for Sam Mayer. And those were the 8 different drivers who led at least 1 lap in the race today. 13 lead changes amongst those 8 different leaders. And that is all of the race stats in this one. Tomorrow's race will be on the USA Network for the NASCAR Cup Series. And we will be going live at 2:30 p.m. Eastern for our full flag-to-flag coverage. We'll have a pre-race. I'll give you my predictions for the race, who I think will run well, not run well, fantasy advice, and much more prior, again, to the drop of the green flag. For more live commentary streams like this, every NASCAR race weekend for Truck Xfinity Cup Series races, as well as Cup practice qualifying streams like we had earlier this morning into the early afternoon. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button as well if you haven't done so yet either on the stream. Our goal was to get to 100 likes, and we obliterated that. We ended up at 156 and counting for where we are right now, so greatly appreciate that, everyone. And yeah, see you back and better than ever again tomorrow. It was a long one down the stretch, but appreciate everybody staying tuned through the red flag, the couple of overtimes there towards the finish. I thought today, personally, on my own commentating abilities, I felt like I did one of my better jobs all year up until that last restart. There was just so much going on that final lap and a half, I should say, for second place that I probably didn't do it justice on the finish. Honestly, I couldn't listen to the NBC broadcast at that point in time, but I would imagine they probably didn't do its due diligence either. There was just that much happening, so go back and rewatch the replays of that online. If you get a chance. But again, congratulations to Connor Zilic getting his first career win in his first career race from the pole in dominating fashion, leading the most laps, winning at stage. Really couldn't have done much better. Fuel mileage. Great job for the kid, the 18-year-old. See you back and better than ever again tomorrow. Chastain on the pole. Hope to see you 90 laps at the Glen another time tomorrow afternoon. Have a good rest of your Saturday night, everybody.